thepascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good afternoon. Good evening and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope the show finds you in great spirits because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got a lot of things that are going on today. Something that's breaking right now as we speak. As soon as I open up my computer, started getting things ready, all that. Something's going on right now as we speak. So we're going to be hopping over there and looking into what the heck is going on in Georgia right now as we speak. But there is a lot going on throughout the country and throughout the world. So we got a lot to talk about. So please do me a favor. Before we get into everything, before we get this thing on and popping, do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button. If you're watching on these other platforms, that'd be greatly appreciated. If you are watching on those other platforms, please make sure to hit that follow button. Follow, please and thank you. Make sure you are following on this platform or those other platforms, okay? Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. I'm on all of them, so make sure you're hitting that follow button over there. Hit that subscribe button here. Just putting that back up one more time. Subscribe right here on my YouTube channel, please and thank you. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it is random, okay? Please do so, all right? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, let us get into the conversation because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that are going on overseas. There's a lot of things that are going on domestically, or at least in America. I know a good portion of you guys aren't watching from the States. You guys are watching in other parts of the world, which I do appreciate the international love. Seriously, I do. But there's a lot of things that are going on in America as well as going on overseas in Iran or in the Middle East. And there's a lot to talk about. But one thing is for sure, and I'm still trying to fully gather on what the hell is going on in Rome, Georgia. But apparently there's a major fire that just broke out today at the historic Floyd County Courthouse in downtown Rome, Georgia. And there's this footage of them taking out the fire. So let me show you guys that here really quick. This is absolutely crazy. Let me unmute it. There's not really any sound to the situation. But again, a lot of people are trying to figure out what the hell's going on here and how did this go down? Why did this go down? Let's not forget, there was a plane crash that happened in LaGuardia's airport, which we are going to be talking about as well here in just a little bit. Like I said, a lot of things have happened since last night. And I know a lot of you guys know a lot about it, but there's obviously more stuff even percolating even more now, which is absolutely insane. So I don't know what the heck is going on. I don't know if this was intentional. I don't know if this was like an electrical fire or something of that sort. Anything's possible with this situation. But of course, I'm going to keep an eye on this to find out what is actually going on, because right now they're not reporting much about it, which is very frustrating if you ask me. It's very frustrating. But I do feel like we are going to get some more information about that here in the very near future. Again, why is that happening? We do not know. Okay. But we have got to take a look at all the stuff that's been going on recently with this crash that took the life of two people last night. So Air Canada was landing in LaGuardia Airport right now, and basically all hell broke loose because this plane literally ran into a fire truck that was crossing the lane, crossing its landing strip, okay, which doesn't make any sense, all right? So there's a lot to look at. I'm going to share a little bit of this because this is absolutely crazy. And apparently there's a press conference going on. Like they're literally in the middle of a press conference right now as we speak, talking about what actually happened here or how this whole thing went down. So first things first, I just want to share this little bit with you guys because obviously this is absolutely crazy. Let's take a look at this.
The investigation is underway, and that's as LaGuardia Airport remains closed at least until 2 p.m. Investigators right now are taking a good look at the scene where this collision took place between that Air Canada plane as well as that Port Authority fire truck. Now, we know that unfortunately it is believed that the pilot and the co-pilot have died and more than a dozen people have been injured, but I want to pop up some video for you right now just so you can take a look at the scene for you and what we are seeing here. Now, you can see that significant damage to the nose of that regional jet that landed here at LaGuardia from Montreal minutes before 11:40 last night. Well, we're told as it was rolling down the runway, it slammed into that vehicle. An official briefed us on the situation, telling Eyewitness News that the plane appeared to be going about 30 miles per hour. You can see the front of the plane elevated on top of that mangled truck. Now, Port Authority, they say that truck was responding to a separate incident, but this collision had activated emergency response protocols. The Air Canada plane was operated by a company called Jazz Aviation LP. They say that there were 72 passengers and 4 crew members on board. Officials have said at a briefing that 13 people have been hospitalized with injuries, 11 passengers, 2 responders. Now, we're told a flight attendant was also injured. The NTSB, they said they are going to be sending a team here to investigate, and they're expected to arrive later today. Now, a short time ago, I spoke with a man who was experiencing what many others are also facing, delays and now cancellations, at least now through 2 o'clock.
10:30 went on till 12 midnight to 1 to 2, and then canceled. And I booked on the 6:30 a.m. flight this morning, and that looks like it's noon now. So I said, so then I'm just gonna go home and see. Which I'm not sure the airport will let me back in, actually.
And many folks, they really are left scrambling this morning as we were arriving. And even as we were standing out here, you could just see several folks with their suitcases, and some just even just passed us moments ago. It's not quite a sight that you usually see because this part of the airport, folks are just trying to navigate, just getting around to their terminal. But what we're seeing is that those folks who are facing those cancellations, they did tell us that they're trying to get over to Newark and other surrounding airports, seeing if they can get some type of flight out. But from here at LaGuardia, we know that the airport is closed at 2 p.m. The FAA, they have put out a statement saying that we are waiting for a press conference from Port Authority. As for getting around this area, you just want to avoid it altogether. Local police do have various checkpoints all closed off, and that's for the scene here. We can only imagine what other parts of the area look like this morning.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you're literally landing in New York. Okay, you're landing in in LaGuardia. You're getting ready to go see the big city. You also got to remember a lot of people are coming in for spring break. Maybe they're using their spring break to visit the Big Apple. Maybe some people are coming back home from going to school somewhere else, so on and so forth. So you got people flying in thinking that, okay, we just landed. Thank God, because a lot of people don't like being thrown in the air in a tuna can shaped like a cylinder. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody likes that. You know what I mean? Nobody likes to be flung, 300, 400 miles per hour in the air, 31,000 feet in the air. So when you finally land, you're super excited. You're like, yes, we are here. We made it. And then all of a sudden, collision, right? We got the footage showing the collision. It's absolutely insane. So sit tight, guys. This is just insane. And the fact that this is an error, a mistake, also, doesn't this have to do with the government shutdown a little bit? Think about that too. Doesn't the air traffic control also get affected by this whole government shutdown, this partial government shutdown that's happening right now? Isn't that what's happening as well? Don't they get no pay as well as not just TSA, right? Am I correct or am I wrong? Because 4 months ago, if we took a time travel flashback, right, and went back just 3-4 months ago when they did the full shutdown, air traffic controllers were in trouble too. They were having issues getting paid as well. So if this has anything to do with that, ay caramba. Ay, caramba.
Live at LaGuardia Airport, I'm Phil Tate, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, Phil, I'm curious because we see people walking behind your live shot, and we know the airport is closed, so no flights coming in and out, other people going to Newark and LaGuardia. But I am curious, for the people who are there, are they told they have to leave, or can they stay in the airport? I mean, it's raining behind you, and I'm curious if you're a tourist from somewhere else, maybe you just want to stay there. Are they told they have to leave?
Yeah, Pedro, those are some good questions there, and there has not been anyone that I've met yet that has told me that they had to leave. It seems that people are just trying to either go home, say, let's try a little bit later. Some folks said that they were getting connecting flights here, but they haven't been able to get anywhere. I've spoken to that basketball team that you heard in the past half hour. They said that, unfortunately, they weren't able to get to their destination, but they're trying to figure it out. So everyone's really just trying to see, can we get to another airport to get out? Because as we mentioned just moments ago, the FAA says here in LaGuardia, we're going to be closed at 2 p.m.
Great point.
People scrambling to make other plans and get to other airports. Thank you so much, Phil. Again, 72 people on that Air Canada Express flight, 4 crew members. We now know the co-pilot and pilot have died in this tragically. Our coverage continues with Eyewitness News reporter Lindsay Tuckman. Lindsay, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Michelle. Today was already going to be a difficult day for travelers here at LaGuardia and other area airports for 2 reasons. One was because of those long lines we've been reporting about at TSA, and also because of the weather. But now today, with this addition of the airport altogether being closed by the FAA, travelers are going to have to find another way to get around after this rather tragic incident. But here we're also dealing with traffic because exits to the airport are closed altogether as well. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see what it looks like here on the Grand Central Parkway. This is the westbound lanes that you're looking at right now, just outside of LaGuardia Airport. All exits to the airport are closed this morning. This is exit 5, which is 82nd Street, leading towards Terminal A. And you can see there's actually police here on the scene that are going up to cars and talking to people to see if they have a reason to be getting off at this exit. And they're allowing people that either live in the area or work in the area to get through. But if you're a commuter or someone trying to get to the airport, you will not be able to get off at any exit leading towards the airport. The backup is really far back now in the westbound lanes at this point. It's going to lead to a lot of traffic on this morning commute, and the weather is certainly not helping that. But according to the NYPD, again, all highway exits to the airport are closed until further notice, as well as any linking side roads. Also, according to airport officials, the Port Authority Police Department is on the scene at LaGuardia for the closure, along with the agency's chairman and executive director. This is all to accommodate the investigation that has been ongoing. The airport did close officially late last night to start the investigation. There is no incoming nor outgoing flights at this point. We do know, of course, that flights that were already incoming to LaGuardia before the incident happened did have to be detoured and rerouted to other area airports like JFK. Passengers late last night and early this morning were seen leaving the airport, finding either ways to get home. They were trying to find another flight, go to another airport, and passengers explained what it was like in the air when all of this happened.
We didn't have any longer. They just rerouted us in general. But we were about 2 hours into the flight whenever we knew. We didn't know what happened until we got off the plane whenever we were able to see the news.
Man.
Now, again, according to the FAA, at this point, LaGuardia is going to be closed altogether. That's no ingoing nor outgoing flights until about 2 p.m. That certainly can change. But if you were scheduled on a flight this morning or any flight that was going into LaGuardia, if you're in another city, it's likely canceled at this point. And any outgoing flights altogether are going to be canceled until at least 2 p.m. At this point, FlightAware is reporting 254 cancellations. That number probably will get higher, and delays will probably increase as well. So check with your airline if you are planning to fly in or out of LaGuardia this morning.
And of course, things have been turned back on since then. But it is pretty insane what we're hearing, what we're seeing right now. I mean, as of recently, there is a press conference. We're going to take a look at a little bit of it, not the whole thing, in a little bit. I want to show you a few more things because this is just absolutely insane. You got a fire truck that was going off. I guess they were leaving from another area, from another plane, if I'm correct, due to there was I guess complaints or reports of a bad smell coming from another plane. Then they were leaving that particular plane, and then they crossed each other, which is weird. And it's crazy that today, of all days, we are having a airport conversation. A lot of what we're talking about today, okay, has to do with what's going on in America right now. And this obviously is part of the big deal, a part of piece of this, okay? So here's some footage. I want to show you guys this. Here's some footage of the actual plane colliding into the actual truck, the fire truck, while it's landing. So it's going pretty damn fast because it just landed, y'all, okay? It has just landed. Take a look at this. There's the truck. There's the plane. Oh my goodness, indeed. One more time. Yo. So I'm going to mute that because you don't need to hear the guy saying it over. Oh my God, it's crazy. But look at that, guys. This is crazy. I'm even saying it because it is crazy. Plane had just landed, y'all. They had just landed and then blammo, right? Pretty damn insane. I mean, that's the only word you can say to describe this whole situation. Hold on, there's more.
So one of America's busiest airports has reopened after 2 pilots tragically died in that collision late last night. New York's LaGuardia Airport had been shut down following the crash between an Air Canada Express flight and a fire truck.
I just want to make this abundantly clear. 2 people have passed away, okay? 2 people have passed away and multiple injuries. There have been multiple people who have been injured, but the 2 people, the pilot and co-pilot of this plane lost their life in this collision. Okay, just so you know, pretty wild, pretty wild if you ask me. And this is how the plane was found. Okay, and was stuck like this for a while. So let's just play this so you guys can hear what the heck is going on
The runway. It left the plane's nose destroyed and tilted up in the air. And now we've got video of the tragic moment, the plane right there colliding with that fire truck. Flight operations now resuming at the airport as the FAA continues its investigation into the cause of the incident. For the first time since the accident, the CEO of Air Canada now speaking out.
Today is a very somber day at Air Canada. Flight AC 8646 was carrying 72 passengers and 4 crew members for a total of 76 people on board. We now know that the captain and the first officer were killed in this accident. We're fully supporting the relevant investigative authorities in their investigation to learn everything we can about these events.
Rena Roy joins me now from LaGuardia there in New York. So, Rena, what more?
So I just want to play this, say this really quick, because there is an article out here that just got put up about 2 hours ago. And it's saying, I'm just going to read it off screen, but it's saying, are air traffic controllers part of the government shutdown? So a TSA staffing shortage and a deadly plane crash at LaGuardia Airport have raised fresh questions about air traffic controller staffing as the partial government shutdown continues. So, which we already know about the how many people who lost their lives. It's injured. This crash has injured many people as well. Has also renewed scrutiny of the FAA, an agency that has faced questions over staffing oversight and security practices in the recent years. However, FAA officials say controllers' pay and operations remain unaffected by this shutdown, which is also very interesting. So air traffic controllers work for the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, which is part of the Department of Transportation. The FAA is fully funded for fiscal year 2026, according to FAA officials. The partial government shutdown failed to renew funding for the Department of Homeland Security, which includes the TSA, U.S. Secret Service, and the Coast Guard. Interesting. So both TSA officers and air traffic controllers are considered essential and continue reporting to work during a shutdown. However, the partial government shutdown prompted 400 TSA officers to quit, 400 of them, and thousands more have called out sick because they're not getting paid. So when it comes to air traffic controllers, it sounds like they're not getting affected by this shutdown, which is wild, if you ask me. But just so you guys know, they're not getting hurt. They have not been hurt by this partial government shutdown. So what the hell actually happened here, right?
We know about the airport resuming operations now.
Well, Kira, we know that operations were resumed at 2 p.m. Eastern time as they were expected to, starting with just one runway here at LaGuardia. We actually have seen at least one plane take off from the airport in the last hour or so. And I just want to give you a live look because we can now see the wreckage now that the fog has lifted out here. You mentioned the plane is tilted up. You can see that there, and it's still blocking one of the runways. NTSB investigators, we know they are on scene getting a good look at the plane right now. And the up close images that we have seen are really just horrific, Kira. They show just how bad the damage is to the nose, the front of the plane just destroyed. And officials say because only one runway is open here at LaGuardia, passengers can expect continued delays and cancellations, Kira.
Well, what more do we know about this collision and how it happened, Rena?
Right. So it's still unclear why and how this happened. That is a question that the NTSB is looking to answer. But according to audio recordings, that fire truck did get clearance from air traffic control to cross the runway there. And then shortly after being given that permission, the air traffic control suddenly said, stop, stop, stop. But by then, as we know, it was too late. We are told that plane there was going anywhere from 93 to 105 miles per hour at the time of the collision. And as we said, that you can see just how bad the damage was to that plane. Just horrific, Kira.
Rena.
Yeah, this is just, as the guy said in that video, it's absolutely insane what we're seeing here. Why is it happening? I don't know. Or how this happened, I don't know. Right? Let's take a look at this here.
We're going to begin this hour with a
Whoops.
breaking news from LaGuardia. We've been talking about it all morning.
It's crazy.
This is what is left of an Air Canada plane. Look at this. The nose tilted up, the tail on the ground, the nose and the cockpit destroyed. The jet collided with a fire truck on the runway. Officials confirmed that both pilots, we're very sorry to tell you this, have been killed. Dozens of other people were hurt here. Tom Hansen is at LaGuardia for the latest. Tom, good morning.
Hey there, Gail. Good morning to you. Well, investigators and emergency crews are still working after that late night collision between a passenger jet and an airport vehicle. There are a lot of questions here, so here's what we know so far. Officials say an Air Canada Express flight arriving from Montreal struck a Port Authority firefighting vehicle on the runway just before midnight Sunday. The aircraft, a Bombardier CRJ 900 carrying 72 passengers and 4 crew members, had just landed when the crash happened on runway 4. The impact caused significant damage to the plane's nose and cockpit, and authorities say both pilots were killed in the crash. Several passengers were injured as well, along with the first responders in the vehicle. According to the investigators, the emergency truck had been responding to a separate incident and was cleared to cross the runway before the plane struck it. You could hear the air traffic controller talking about the incident with the pilot of a Frontier flight. Take a listen.
That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up.
No.
Say that again. Word. I tried to reach out to my staff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up. What? Hold on.
That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up.
No, man, you did the best you could.
Now, because of the crash, the FAA issued a ground stop and shut down LaGuardia, forcing flights to be diverted or canceled while crews secure the scene and investigators begin their work. The National Transportation Safety Board is now leading the investigation, looking at air traffic control communications, runway procedures, and what exactly led to the collision. Now, for now, travelers are being told to check with their airlines as cancellations ripple across the region. Vlad.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Joining us now is Captain Laura Einsettler, a pilot with more than 30 years of experience. She's also someone who's very familiar with the runways in and out of LaGuardia. Captain, good morning. Good to see you. What was your initial reaction when you heard about this collision?
It's very unusual to have a situation where we're landing on the runway and you have emergency equipment operators on the runway itself. It's highly unusual, and it's very concerning, obviously, from the visuals that we see here.
It is the visuals is what I can't get over. I just think, Laura, as a passenger, when the plane lands and you have that bump on the ground, I feel instant relief. And I would imagine a pilot feels the same. There just seemed to be a confluence of factors against this guy. There's one person on duty allegedly in the air traffic control tower, bad weather. This one person is dealing with an earlier emergency. Is there anything based on what you've heard so far, and I know it's still a very fluid situation, that the pilot could have done, that anything could have been done to avoid this?
Unfortunately, with situations like this, it's always a series of events. So we're going to be looking at things like where the communications broke down. Sometimes what happens is the emergency equipment operators are on a different frequency than we are. So sometimes we're not hearing, and especially once we're landing on the runway, as you said, you feel that, okay, we're on the runway, we're on the ground. And as pilots, our job is to then, of course, decelerate the aircraft safely. And we're looking at that point at those speeds to be turning off the runway. So it would be quite a shock for them to see, if they even saw the emergency equipment there.
Captain, I know it's important after tragedies like this to not make assumptions or to place blame. But in your opinion, should we be looking at this as a rare incident, or does it point to a larger concern of aviation safety or possibly even staffing issues?
I would say it's all the above. Right now, we have so many distractions, and it's so critical to always, have heads up, eyes out, being situationally aware of every situation at all times to help try to prevent as best as we can situations like this from happening. And obviously in aviation, we always learn so that we can always do better as we move forward.
I want to know, how the hell did this happen? You see what I'm saying? How can something like this, that is clearly something that could easily be preventable, how could something like this actually happen? It doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Take a look at this. This is saying here, I messed up. So LaGuardia controllers devastated ATC confession after fatal runway collision kills 2 pilots. Then a crew's gentle "God bless you, man, and you did the best you could" offer heartbreaking comfort in the chaos. So in the wake of this tragic runway collision at LaGuardia Airport, LGA, on March 22nd, 2026, where an Air Canada Express CRJ 900 operated by Jazz Aviation, a flight from Montreal, struck a Port Authority fire truck crossing runway 4. Let's move ahead. Okay, so apparently this is what the crew was saying. Okay, Frontier 4990 or 4195. I got the word that we're going to be closed for a little while. If you want to prepare to return to the ramp, let me know. Yeah, I got. So another person is responding. Crew member responded. Yes, I got the stuff in progress. For that man, that wasn't good to watch. The controller says, "Yeah, I was there." Like we just heard in that audio just a second ago. Yeah, I was there. I tried to reach out to them. I stopped, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up. No, man, you did the best you could. What? It's gonna be closed all night. Never mind. So plan on returning. You can sort that out with your ramp. Yes, sir. Thank you. God bless you, man. Okay. So what in the hell?
Ground, Brickyard 5681. Frontier 4195. I got the word that we're going to be closed for a little while. If you want prepared to return to the ramp, let me know.
Yeah, we got stuff in progress for that, man. That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up.
Okay, hold on. Does this guy not know the severity of this crash yet? Because listen to the beginning of this. He's talking normal, like nothing happened, like he didn't do anything wrong.
Ground, Brickyard 5681. Frontier 4195, I got the word that we're going to be closed for a little while. If you want prepared to return to the ramp, let me know.
Yeah, we got stuff in progress for that, man. That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my staff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up.
Who is this guy? Who's this dude? Who's this guy that's literally blatantly taking the responsibility, right? Being like, hey, we were trying to work on something else. I messed up. Oopsie daisy. I made a mistake. I'm just wondering who's this guy, right? Don't we all want to know who the hell this guy is? Because this is crazy.
No, man, you did the best you could.
And grounded there, 5393, is the airport going to get closed? Do we need to stay put here or no?
5393, just remind me your position. I'm a little busy.
Okay, we'll hold our position. Yes, sir.
No, remind me where you are.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We just pushed from gate Charlie 70, so we're in lane 1516 area.
All right, yeah, I was informed that the airport field's going to be closed for a while.
Okay, understood, thanks.
Sorry, it's going to be closed all night. Never mind. So plan on returning. If you can sort that out with your ramp.
Understood, sir. Thank you.
God bless you, man.
Whole airport shut down. Whole airport mother-loving shut down. This is crazy. Yeah, you know, stuff like this, I don't see it skit worthy. I just don't see it. I mean, this is scary. This is really scary. I mean, yes, there's always somebody who can spin this into some sort of skit, you know what I mean, and throw some sort of comedy. But I just don't see that with this one. You know, I feel like if SNL was to do a skit off of this, I feel that there would be an absolute, people would be up in arms, I think. What, don't you think? Because we don't know what actually happened here. You see what I'm saying? What happened here? This guy's like, my bad, made a mistake. Wild. Maybe he hasn't fully processed what happened here, but still, this is some scary stuff that this actually happened. Look at that. The passengers are absolutely so freaking lucky that they're able to walk out of this crash alive. And I tell you what, a lot of them are probably like, I'm taking the bus or train from this point on. F this. Something like this, I don't know if I'd want to be flying either, baby. And I don't like the fly to begin with. But to survive something like this, shoot, I am not, shoot. And here's the other thing. I don't know how the flight attendants handle it. You see what I'm saying? I don't know how they handle it so well. When it comes to turbulence and all that, they're just very calm, you know, just chilling, right? After something like this, I'd quit the job. I'd be like, nah. Yes, I wanted to see the world, but not like this. Scary stuff. Very scary stuff. And I guess the guy who was in the fire truck is okay. I guess whoever was on the fire truck, I'm assuming those guys are okay, because the only two people that have lost their lives are the pilots, the pilot and the co-pilot of that plane. Look at that, guys. Very, very lucky. Very, very lucky. Whoever got out of this situation alive is okay. I mean, and is okay is very, very lucky. We got more, though, with this. Un momento, por favor. And, you know, of course, that's the other thing, too. It's like something like this that happens.
We just
like, one, how does that even happen? And then the other thing is What can they do to prevent this from happening ever again? We already saw just last year, just a few months ago. Remember the collision that happened midair with a Black Hawk helicopter and a American airline jet? Remember that right in DC? We've seen plenty of airline collisions as of late. We don't need any more of these. You'd think that they would be making, learning from these mistakes and making more precise decisions and not being so faulty in what they're doing.
Heard from a senior Port Authority official after the breaking news overnight when a plane crashed into another vehicle at LaGuardia Airport with 2 people now confirmed dead. You are watching Fox and Friends First on this Monday morning. I'm Carly Shimkus.
And I am Todd Pyro. Here's what we know just moments ago from that press conference. 41 people on that plane were transported to the hospital. 32 were released, but it does appear there are 9 individuals.
Hey, real quick, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, hit it, please, and thank you. Okay. Can we get it towards, get it closer to 1K? In fact, can we get to 1K? That would really mean the world to me. We got quite a bit to discuss. There's a lot going on in the world. There's things going on overseas. There's a lot of things going on at airports domestically. We got a lot to talk about. Okay. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Okay. Subscribe. We talk about a lot of things on this channel. So make sure you are hitting that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. Okay. This is just crazy.
Individuals with serious injuries at this time still in the hospital. 2 pilots, as you see on your screen right there, confirmed dead. LaGuardia will be closed until at least 2 p.m. Could be longer, depending upon how long the investigation takes. With that, let's go live now to CB Cotton live at LaGuardia with the very latest. CB.
Todd, Carly, good morning. An absolute tragedy here on the ground at LaGuardia Airport as we get that official confirmation that 2 pilots have been killed in this collision between a passenger plane and a fire truck. Let's take a look at this crash site because this was a gut-wrenching scene. You can see here on the screen that Air Canada Express plane on the tarmac with its nose completely torn off, and nearby there appears to be the overturned, damaged Port Authority fire truck. To give some context, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey operates this airport. It just held a news conference and said the Air Canada flight was landing at around 11:40 p.m. Eastern last night, coming in from Montreal when it collided with a Port Authority fire truck that was responding to a United aircraft that had previously reported an issue with an odor. The Port Authority released an earlier statement saying, quote, at approximately 11:40 p.m. on Sunday, a Jazz Aviation flight operating on behalf of Air Canada was involved in an accident on runway 4 at LaGuardia Airport, in which the aircraft struck a Port Authority aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicle
We're also
that was
tracking the
responding
moment
to a separate incident. And again, moments ago, we got more details about how this unfolded. So Air Canada, again, says that flight was traveling from Montreal to New York, operated by Jazz Aviation. We also learned the flight had 72 passengers and 4 crew members on board. Port Authority recapping moments ago that 41 passengers and crew members were taken to the hospital. 32 people have now been released, but we've been told there are serious injuries. There was light rain, fog, and mist when the collision occurred, but it's too soon to say how and if the weather played a role. Here,
They even said like people were flying everywhere when the collision happened. People just started flying because you know what happens. This is the reason why we all need to keep our seat belts on after we land, because some people get their seatbelts off because they want to go as soon as they make connection to their terminal. They just want to kick rocks. They want to jump up and get their bag and run out off the plane. Right? A lot of people do that crap. A lot of people will just unbuckle as soon as they land, and I think that's one of the reasons why people were flying everywhere inside this plane. All right. So pretty crazy. That's why you keep the mother-loving belts on. Dag nabbit.
There's one injured passenger recounting the harrowing moments.
We were coming in pretty fast. It was like a regular flight, like always. But as we were arriving, we came down really hard, and then we stopped really quickly, and then about 2 seconds later, we just had an absolute like slam. Everybody was flying everywhere. I mean, like the plane started veering off left and right, and there was, I mean, just it was chaos. I mean, it didn't feel like there was anybody in control of anything.
Jesus.
And our
Terrifying.
thoughts and prayers are with everyone who was involved in this collision this morning. Todd, as you mentioned, there will be no flights into or out of LaGuardia Airport until at least 2 p.m. local time. The NTSB will now lead the investigation. Back to you in the studio.
Remarkable to hear that firsthand account from that passenger, CB. CB Cotton live.
Yeah, again, scary stuff, if you ask me. Some very, very scary stuff. Now, they did have a press conference that I want to share a little bit of it. We're not going to watch the whole doggone thing, but we want to know. I would like to know what the hell happened here, and who's being held responsible for this BS. Let's keep it a bean. So let's take a look at this.
Mandami, all here with us. Each is going to speak in regard to this press conference. When this is over, we'll take your questions, but just want to give you a caveat. There may be a lot of questions about a lot of issues. We are here to talk about what happened last night at LaGuardia. So if you have other questions, please don't ask them. That's a different press conference for a different time. So moments ago, I had a chance to speak to President Trump after he finished his press conference in Memphis. Also spoke with the Transport Minister of Canada, Stephen McKinnon. And again, our two teams work very closely together. I want to take a moment and just walk through the facts again of what happened. There was a CJR 900 from Montreal here to LaGuardia, operated by Air Canada Express and by Jazz. It collided with a Port Authority fire truck at approximately 11:45 p.m. last night. There were 72 passengers on the plane and 4 crew. Approximately 40 people were sent to the hospital after the crash. Several have also been released. As has been reported, the 2 pilots of the aircraft passed away in the crash last night. I do want to note that we send our deepest condolences to their families as they're going through, no doubt, a grieving process. There were 2 individuals in the fire truck. They too were sent to the hospital after the crash. Now, there's going to be a lot of questions, I know, about what do we know at this time? And what we are going to do is give you the information that we can. We all have respect for the NTSB. The NTSB goes through a thorough investigation, and we are conscious about the information and the facts that we give you because we want that information to be accurate. There's some information that we hold back that the NTSB has that we allow them to do the investigation, and it takes months, sometimes up to a year before we get the findings of that investigation. But NTSB is on the ground at the airport. The FAA is on the ground. Over 10 people from the FAA are here, as well as Transport Canada is sending a team to LaGuardia as well. Our 2 countries work very well together. There's a well-worn path where we collaborate together when there's aviation crashes in either of our countries. The administrator and I were at the crash site earlier today, which is easily visible from the airport. And it's incredibly sad. It's troubling. And I just want to let America know that we are working our hearts off to make sure that when people travel, whether by rail or car or by air, that they travel safely. And we put in precautions and policies to make sure that you are safe when you travel. When I was at the crash site, it was just a reminder that when you're traveling by air, you should wear your seatbelt. If you see the videos of the air crash, wear your seatbelt when you're on the airplane. Also, in a car, wear a seatbelt. As you see from last night, they do save lives. I'd also note that as of now, LaGuardia is open. There is a reduced capacity because the aircraft and the fire truck are still in their positions from last night. So we are going to have reduced capacity for some time, but the airport is operational. Again, we'll come back and take your questions, but at this time, I want to turn it over to the FAA Administrator, Brian Bedford.
Thank you, Secretary Duffy. Again, I want to extend my deepest sympathies on behalf of the 44,000 men and women of the Federal Aviation Administration. We take our responsibilities quite seriously, managing the safety of the air traffic control system and the national airspace. So we're deeply moved by the tragedy of last night. Been in contact with the leadership teams of both Air Canada and Air Canada Jazz to express our sympathies, as well as my peer at Transport Canada. And of course, we are a supporting agency in the investigation now. The National Transportation Safety Board is running the investigation. So there are few facts we're going to be able to share with you today. What I can share with you, of course, the weather conditions last night were moderate winds out of the 050 at 7 knots. We had broken ceilings at 9,000 feet. Visibility roughly 4 miles in raining conditions, so there was mist
and it was pitch black. But that shouldn't justify what happened here. That should not be the defining factor of what happened here, right?
Fog here at the LaGuardia Airport last night. We had a situation with the United Airlines aircraft that had experienced an aborted takeoff. This is the reason why the fire and rescue crew had been deployed. Of course, the Air Canada flight was arriving on runway 4 when the incident took place at the Delta intersection. Again, I want to extend my sympathies to the families of the 2 pilots. These were 2 young men at the start of their careers, so it's an absolute tragedy, that we're sitting here, with their loss. So my heart really goes out to the families for sure. But we are committed to a full, transparent investigation. We will support the NTSB in any way possible. And again, we look forward to being able to take concrete actions to ensure something like this will never happen again. Thank you.
Okay, let me skip ahead to questions, because of course there were questions being done after I think Mamdani, the mayor of New York, finally said his piece. So let's see.
Those who died in our thoughts, and continue to hope for a quick recovery for those who were injured. Thank you.
So just a couple of additional comments before we take your questions. I just want to make a note that when these incidents happen, you see politics fade away and people work together. And that's why you have people with very different political views coming together, standing together to respond together to an incident like this. Number one. Number two, I know that Jennifer Hamady and the NTSB is going to do a press conference later today with some initial findings that that they'll have with this crash. I want to make another point. I've been asking the Congress for additional money. Many of you have reported that we need more money for air traffic control. We are modernizing our system, but we can't fully modernize it until the Congress gives us additional money. It's not a partisan issue. Both Democrats and Republicans agree, but they have to have the will to finish the funding. I'm not saying that this crash would have been prevented if we had all the equipment deployed, but it's important if we care about air travel safety, we care about having a brand new air traffic control system, the best in the world with the best equipment, virtually all of it developed here in America. Before you ask me a question about our staffing for air traffic controllers, I'll just give you an update on how LaGuardia operates. I'm not going to talk about specifics, but this airport has a target of 37 controllers at LaGuardia. We have 33 controllers employed, certified at LaGuardia, and we have 7 actually that are in training. So as our airports go, LaGuardia is a very well-staffed airport. We're a couple controllers short in total, but it is a well-staffed airport. Again, 33 certified controllers that operate out of the tower here at LaGuardia. With that, we are happy to take any of your questions that are specific to what happened last night. Go ahead.
You hear that? In other words, he doesn't want to have any questions asked about ICE being there for TSA and all that. That's basically what he's saying here.
Yeah, so the question is in regard to what was the staffing in the tower last night? And we have a very good relationship with the NTSB. We have information. We don't put that information out. We allow the NTSB to gather the information, double, triple check it, and it goes into their report. So I'm not going to give the data on that. Again, that's an arrangement we have with the NTSB, letting them actually do their investigation. And so that's not for us to tell you. That'll be for the NTSB at the appropriate time. Well, it's troubling that we had an aircraft hit a fire truck. I mean, that's troubling. Full stop. Go ahead. So the question is, should the truck have stopped? And again, this goes to information that we have, but we give it to the NTSB. They analyze it and they make the judgment call on what should have happened in regard to air traffic control, trucks and airplanes. And through that investigation, they then put out a report. So I can't give you specifics on what went wrong. That's for Jennifer Hamady and the NTSB. Yeah. So I told you I'm not going to talk about specifics, but for that question, I'll just tell you that it's inaccurate. So with air traffic controllers, we have surged in our training facility, which is in Oklahoma City. We are putting more controllers through our academy. Now, it does take time to train up as a controller. If you come to a very busy space like N90 in New York or LaGuardia, it's going to take you over a year to train up in a facility like this. So there's some lag time as we get controllers through the academy. And we need them trained up in a facility. As I mentioned, there's 7 controllers. Many of them have a lot of experience in different facilities, but they have to be trained up specifically in this airspace. What I've also done is I have offered bonuses to air traffic controllers who are of the age to retire. I've asked them to not retire, to stay on the job, and we're paying them a 20% bonus just so we can bridge this shortfall. But as airports go, LaGuardia is a well-staffed airport. Even though we do have shortages, I was speaking specifically in regard to the dollars that we need for the technological upgrade. Again, this was not tonight, but there's copper wires, we use analog, not digital. There's a whole suite of technological upgrades that we want to make that will make the job of air traffic controlling much easier. And again, it's a separate issue, but I think it underscores the point that the Congress does need to do their job. And there's bipartisan agreement, so they should, in a bipartisan way, come together and figure out a way to give us the rest of the dollars to complete the job. I'll take one more question right here. So it's a great question. And again, you want me to front run the NTSB, and I'm not going to front run the NTSB. We have a great working relationship with them, and we've set this up, and it's the right way. We take a step back, and I don't give you all of the information. I let the NTSB take that information and do their analysis. And I'll just say, oftentimes what we learn is information that we have at the start of an incident like this oftentimes is wrong. And so what we think we know right now, that's why it goes to the NTSB. They pressure test it, they investigate it, and then they come out with a report for all of you. But I did want to clarify. I've heard the rumor that there was only one controller in the tower, and that's not accurate. Listen, I want to thank you all.
I mean, of course, there's going to be they're going to try to push back any claims of there only being one person in the tower, doing the job, etc. But I hope they're telling us the truth, because this is some serious sloppy work. I think we all can agree on that. And this is disastrously dangerous, sloppy work. That's the problem here too. I think we can all agree on that as well. Here's what else has been going on. Like I said, as you guys already know, there has been a lot going on domestically here in America. So for those of y'all who are not in the States, you guys are somewhere else. In fact, in the chat, put it in the chat. Tell me where you're watching this show from. If you're watching from the U.S., just say you're watching from the U.S. If you are from, watching from another country, please put it in the family chat. I just love to hear and see who's in the chat. All right. But here's the thing. There's been a lot of issues going on in America when it comes to traveling, all because of this partial shutdown that we've all been seeing recently, right? It hasn't been good at all. So much that we even heard Trump even say in a recent post on social media where he basically said, hey, because of the radical Democrats, because of the radical left Democrats aren't willing to find a common ground, come to an agreement with the Republicans on funding the DHS, you know what? We're going to bring ICE. We're going to put ICE at the airports. Now, a lot of us are thinking this right here. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely feel like this is going to be a recipe for disaster. Some people are like, yeah, good. Bring ICE. Make them help. Make them help the situation. Make them do what they need to do. From what we've been hearing, from what at least I've been seeing and reading and seeing all over the place, a lot of people are sitting here saying that they're not really helping the flow of traffic. They're not making things go faster. In fact, they're making things kind of bad at these airports. And here's the other thing too, which I do appreciate. See, there are things that I will sit here out loud and say, oh, thanks, Trump, for doing that. He did say that there would be no masks on these ICE agents in these airports, which, by the way, but I'm telling you right now, I'm happy about that. But I say to do that for every ICE agent out here throughout the country, in my personal opinion, because no matter what, you just taking the masks off at these airports literally is just like it ain't doing nothing. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like putting a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. You see what I'm saying? It's like putting your thumb in the hole in the wall that's leaking all this water, but there's all these other holes that are popping up. It's not changing anything. It doesn't change anything. I like the fact that these agents have to show their face, but I don't like what's going on at these airports. And it's only going to get worse. And it already has, guys. It already has been getting bad. But let's take a look at this, shall we?
Senator Mark Wayne Mullen could be confirmed as the new Department of Homeland Security Secretary.
First off, let's just pause right here. I know we're not even 10 seconds into this video, but I just want you to take a good look at what you're seeing as far as security checkpoints, just so you can fly. just so you can get on a plane, and hopefully the plane doesn't run into any trucks on the way out and on the way in. Remember that too. Now you got to worry about planes colliding with fire trucks on damn runways. But take a good look at what you're seeing here. This is crazy. I've never seen it like this before. I mean, I've seen it, actually, I have actually seen it like this before, but I've seen it go faster. But that's also because all TSA agents are working at the same time and they're pumping through passengers fast. I've never seen it like this. I will say that. I ain't never seen it like this before. And it is at a snail crawl, guys. 3 to 4 hour waits, guys. Like I said, majority of your time, your vacation time, it feels like majority of your vacation time is going to be standing in line just so you can check your bag and your shoes.
Soon as today, with travelers at major airports set to see ICE agents working alongside TSA. The deployment is meant to relieve growing lines and travel delays as TSA workers are calling out in droves.
Madeline Rivera live in Washington with the details. Maddie.
It's crazy.
Good morning, Todd and Carly. It's unclear how many ICE agents will be deployed. Border Czar Tom Homan, who's in charge of executing this plan, says they'll be focusing on airports where the wait times are the longest. There are
Okay. Not really. You know, what's interesting is that they there. Oh, they're there. Oh, they out her, guys. They out her. But what's crazy is that they're just kind of standing around and then they're just going after anybody who's brown. You feel me? That's basically what we're seeing right now. They're not really helping with the flow. So, okay, recently, later in the day, they are now starting to help with the flow of traffic in a way, but that's not changing anything. It hasn't sped up the process at all. It's just all of them they're not doing anything, guys. They're just there to try to scoop up a ground ball. Oh, you're brown. Let me see your papers. That's literally what we're seeing right now. They just moved from being out in the streets and going to people's homes and doing house raids to just standing inside the airport and just grabbing people.
questions, though, regarding the duties that ICE agents will take on. And here's Homan giving more details on.
I got. You know what? I'm gonna. You know, we gonna continue because let me just say this, okay? Because one thing is for sure, they are basically, and we're, you know, actually, I'm gonna go back to that video because Tom Homan is saying something here in this video, but I do want to make this abundantly clear. THS was literally scrambling. ICE agents were like, what? DHS was literally scrambling, and ICE agents were scrambling just yesterday because they didn't know what they were doing. They're like, what? We're being told to go where? What are we supposed to be doing over there? What can we do to help? What are we doing that's going to help the situation? So they literally had no plan walking into today. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we look at some of this footage. It's wild, if you ask me. Okay, but let's take a look. Let's take a look at this because Tom Homan is talking here. Tom Homan, sorry, is speaking here in just like 3 seconds.
There's a lot of things that TSA does. It doesn't require like specialized training, right? Like you have exit lanes where people leave the airport. Now people try to enter those exit lanes. That's a security breach. Well, an ICE agent can maintain those exits. ICE can check identification before people enter the screening area, right? And we're trying to release TSA resources to get to positions that they really need expertise in, like the X-ray screening.
Oh, here's the thing. Oak Street just said, let ICE do their job. Is their job really TSA though? Like, hey, listen, cool. Let ICE do their job as long as they're not taking people's lives. You know what I'm saying? As long as they're not completely murking people in the streets and they're getting the bad guys, cool, bet. Go ahead, ICE. Do your thing. Do you, boo-boo. But what are they supposed to be doing in at these security checkpoints? They're literally checking identification. Yes, Jamie. They're checking identities. Real talk. Why are they there? If they're not there to help with the flow of people and make this congestion that we're seeing in multiple airports right now, if we're not seeing the congestion get less and less, then what the hell are they doing there? Let ICE do their job, bet. But their job, I don't think, should be right here. Just saying.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries warns having ICE agents at airports has risks.
The last thing that the American people need are for untrained ICE agents to be deployed at airports all across the country, potentially to brutalize or in some instances kill them. We've already seen how ICE conducts itself. These are untrained individuals when it comes to doing the current job that they have for the most part, let alone deploying them in close exposure and highly sensitive situations at airports across the country.
Frustrations are mounting as long lines persist at airports across the country. The national call-out rate for TSA workers was more than 11% on Saturday, the highest since this partial government shutdown began. Homan, who's met with a bipartisan group of lawmakers on Capitol Hill, says while they are having good conversations, there are still some gaps. But the Senate was able to advance Senator Markwayne Mullin's nomination yesterday. Two Democrats, Senators John Fetterman and Martin Heinrich, voted yes, breaking with the rest of their party. Mullin's final confirmation vote is expected to take place tonight. San and Carlos.
Madeline Rivera, thank you. With that, let's bring in former DHS Deputy Assistant Secretary and former acting.
We're going to stop there. Let's continue on. I mean, we're still in the TSA world, the ICE and TSA world, but you know, there's footage that we need to take a look at because there's plenty. There's footage aplenty. One thing is for sure. This is just a tweet, all right? But they're saying ICE agents at airport stations inside terminals while wearing masks. That's also very important. Journalist Nick Valencia filmed his own experience traveling through Atlanta this morning, spending nearly an hour getting through TSA. Well, maybe they are helping. Maybe, you know, it's a lot shorter than just 3 hours. You could watch the Titanic, the whole movie Titanic, and he'd still not get through security checkpoint in some places. That's crazy. You could watch one of the Lord of the Ring movies and he'd still not get through security checkpoint. You see what I'm saying? Only to walk into the terminal to see ICE agents already on the other side of the security checkpoint, not screening passengers or reducing wait lines or wait times, just standing there, masked. This isn't about fixing delays. It's about putting Trump's secret police inside everyday civilian spaces. That's what a lot of people are feeling right now. Let's take a look at this video.
Good morning from a very busy and crowded Atlanta International Airport. It took me about an hour to get through TSA today, but that was only because of a very kind TSA clear agent. Oh, there's ICE right there. There they are. There you go. There's one, and then there's two. I was going to say I didn't see ICE agents here, but there they are.
This is also important because Trump just said that ICE agents would not be wearing masks. Let's take a look at that conversation, shall we?
Well, just moments ago, President Trump posting this on Truth Social. I am a big proponent of ICE wearing masks as they search for and are forced to deal with hardened criminals, many of whom were let into our country by sleepy Joe Biden and his wonderful border czar, Kamala. She never even went to the border. Through their absolutely insane open border policy, I would greatly appreciate, however, no masks when helping our country out of the Democrat-caused mess at the airports, etc. Thank you, President J.
Okay, no masks at the airports. You want to know why? Let me just say this. You want to know why masks at the airports would be a very, very bad idea? Because they can't just be cowboys, lawless individuals where you have children, families, potential terries running amok. Okay? Because here's the thing. Let me try to explain something to you. We've already seen a line of BS with the ICE agents with the two deaths that we saw, the Renee Good situation, the Alex Preddy situation, especially the Alex Preddy situation. We saw nothing but lies on that situation. And there were a lot of cowboys. We already know that there's a lot of cowboys in the ICE agency. Okay. So it's a very big concern that they go out there, they start chaos where we should be feeling the most safe, the safest is when we get beyond that security checkpoint. It's almost like violence and mayhem should be sterilized as soon as you walk right through that TSA security checkpoint. You see what I'm saying? There should not be worry or concern about being in harm's way or bad things happening once you get on the other side of that security checkpoint. You see what I'm saying? So the fact that you're still seeing agents, ICE agents, wearing masks when the president himself has said, no masks, that's a huge problem. That's a massive, massive problem. And we already know some of these guys like to get real froggy real fast. That's also a big problem. Now, if there's harm, if someone's in there trying to cause harm, absolutely, abso-freaking-lutely, please take them down. Use force, because that's what you need to do, especially in a place like an airport. Keep mine and myself out of harm's way. But when you already know that there's such a stigma, such a violent, volatile stigma attached to the likes of these agents, are they the best people to bring into the likes of an airport, period? Let me just say this real quick. If they're there to help speed up the process of the security checkpoints, helping TSA, then absolutely, hell yeah. Okay, do what you need to do. But they're not really there for that, guys, now, are they? Everything is a facade, guys. Everything is a fugazi. We think that it's one thing, and only to find out it's really about something else. Like this war overseas. It's not really about regime change, is it? Because if it was about regime change, then we'd be focused on regime change. But we're not anymore. Everything. Let's be real. Everything is fake. At least from what I'm seeing. So why is TSA really there? So why is ICE really there? Because a lot of those guys aren't helping move people along in these lines. They're standing around and they're combing the area. They're strolling around in the airports. Like they're airport police, or that they're police for the airport. Not there to help move things along. Doesn't anybody else find that a little bit weird?
DJT, excuse me. Let's bring in Chad Wolf, former acting Homeland Security Secretary. I want to ask you about the ICE agents being in there. I'll show you, first of all, just a couple of responses that Bill Maloogian got when asking some of his contacts. He said, love it, genius, we serve at the behest, lots of illegals at the airports. I would actually love that. And then also somebody not thrilled about it. At least it was putting forward a solution, because the traveling public and the TSA agents.
You know for a fact that there's a lot more negative reactions than what they put up. They put up one, okay? But, you know, we are watching Fox. Let's not forget that.
They're the ones bearing the brunt of all this.
Well, I think that's exactly right. And what you see here is I think President Trump is frustrated, like millions of Americans, particularly those who travel, who's got two choices, which is the lines just continue to get longer as the Democrats continue to shut down DHS, or we find a solution and we look for other options here. And so having ICE or other elements of DHS surge into airports, it's really why the department was created, so that you could have a flexible workforce. And so as screeners continue to call out because they need to put food on the table, you surge in other assets there into those airports. And so you're likely going to see ICE do sort of crowd control, perhaps man exit lanes, do divestiture, the ticket document checker, sort of the first individual that you encounter there in the line. You're likely going to see ICE do a number of these things that free up TSA screeners to focus on those equipment checks, screening that baggage, and those procedures that you see once you get into that security lane.
So Hakeem Jeffries took it to a new level. He was on the air on Sunday on CNN. All right, listen to the words that he chose to use coming off of Minneapolis 2 months ago.
The last thing that the American people need are for untrained ICE agents to be deployed at airports all across the country, potentially to brutalize or in some instances kill them. We've already seen how ICE conducts itself. These are untrained individuals when it comes to doing the current job that they have for the most part, let alone deploying them in close exposure and highly sensitive situations at airports across the country.
So you heard it there. The reality is this: Democrats don't like ICE. No one likes to see people being shot and killed in Minneapolis. But Democrats don't have the votes. They lost that vote. Maybe they have the votes in November. Maybe they've got the votes 2.5 years from now, but they don't at the moment, sir.
Well, that's exactly right.
I don't know about that anymore, guys. As much as they like to say that, I don't know. A lot of people are changing. There's a lot of people that used to be red that are now starting to vote blue because they don't like how things are being done right now. So I don't know. Democrats may have that vote. You never know, guys. I'm just saying we can't say nothing until we see how Trump handles his ass, handles himself in this term. I think still there are people that are side-eyeing and still remember what happened near the end of his term. Remember, the lockdown happened right at his term. Let's not forget that. And there was a lot of people that were very upset about that. I'm just speaking facts. I'm just speaking truths. I know some people get all angry and upset about it anytime there's anything bad or negative to say about Trump. Okay. I'm sorry. He is not. He is human. He is not perfect. He's going to make some choices that are not good. And when there are choices that I agree with, I call it out too. I'll be like, yo, no masks on these ICE agents. If they're going to be there, great. If they're going to be at these TSA and these airports and helping TSA, help TSA out. Cool. Without masks, I approve this message. Thank you, Trump. Thank you for doing that. But are they doing the damn job? Are they really doing what they're supposed to be doing? Right? Because a lot of people are thinking that this is an episode, or we're seeing something from that show Handmaid's Tale. Real talk. Some people are thinking that, oh my Lord, they're going to start policing and restricting individuals from being able to leave their state, if not the actual country. Yeah, that is a major concern for a lot of people. And I get it. I don't blame them for being concerned. I'd be very concerned about this as well. Weird things are going on. Weird things are going on, y'all. Weird things are going on. Here's another thing. This is a video that's been going crazy that happened in San Francisco, apparently. So ICE was at the San Francisco airport last night, terrorizing a woman while her daughter watched. So much for they are here, or hey, we're sending ICE agents to airports to fill in for TSA. BS. Okay, and this is what happened yesterday in San Francisco.
What's your name? Can show the badge. Where's the badge?
Where's your badge?
Can someone call 911? Where's your badge? Can I see? Let me see your badge. Okay. No, can I see your badge? I don't know if that's legitimate. Can I see your badge number, sir? What is your name? What is your name? Where's your badge number? I'm asking for your badge number, sir. What is your badge number?
You realize that, let's keep it real. Like, shouldn't they be able to say, oh yeah, here's my badge number. You want my badge? Here's my badge. There's my number. Now kick rocks. But they're not doing that. Clearly, he has it in his hoodie, in his front pocket hoodie, because he kind of tapped his the front pocket of his hoodie as if it was like, as if the badge was in his front pocket of his hoodie. Because he's like, oh shoot, you can see my badge. What the hell's going on here, guys? What the hell's going on?
What is your badge number? We need to see your badge number. Show your badge number. Show us the badge. This is an illegal arrest. Show the badge number.
It's okay. Go wait.
I need to see your badge
Step
number.
back.
Leave her alone. Fucking, what are you doing? Leave her alone.
So it says here, this is a new angle of the incident at SFO International Airport, where ICE agents took at least one person into custody. According to the eyewitnesses who posted this video, the woman was with her daughter, who is reportedly a U.S. citizen. The mother could not prove her citizenship and was taken into custody. ICE agents have been deployed to airports across the country, like we already know. So just because she has a heavy accent and maybe isn't fluent in English, and she's brown, let's not forget that too. They just assumed that she was not a U.S. citizen. I mean, we'll see if she's actually a citizen or not, but still wild.
What the hell are you doing?
I hope you're so fucking proud of yourselves, you fucking assholes. You're on video now too. Yeah. Shame on you. You fucking un-American pieces of shit. Fuck you.
Crazy. But again, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. And they're saying that they're to help with TSA. What are they doing? Let me show you something else. Here's another one. And it's funny because you're going to see one thing, and it seems as if like they got a memo from the higher ups saying like, look like you're doing something, and not just detaining random people. You're going to see two different things. One, them just chilling, standing around, not doing a doggone thing. Dadgummit. And then you're going to see another one where he's like, your friendly neighbor, your neighborhood ICE guy, ICE agent. Hi, come on, go on upstairs. It's no problem. Yeah, keep on going. Yeah, you about to fly? You excited? Oh, I'm excited for you. Enjoy that vacation. You're going to see something. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. So here's one. All right. Saying ICE agents are now patrolling the Terminal 5 of JFK Airport in New York City as huge TS lines continue. They're not doing anything. What they doing? They're just patrolling. They're just petroleum jellying.
Time. Okay. Go to Terminal 8. I'll make sure you don't come back again. Go. Sir, Terminal 8. Terminal 8.
Let me just pause that right here. Okay, cabron. Do you see what I see with your two eyes? Do you see them working with the TSA right there at this freaking airport, at the JFK airport? Do you see nothing? Do you see any help going on with the TSA, my brother? Do you see any of that? So they're just taking up space. That's basically what they're doing. They're taking up space. And they're just waiting for that one person or those few people that they can swoop in and grab. What are they doing? Take a look at that. Do you see them helping? I don't see any of them actually going to any of the passengers and going, "Do you need help with the kiosk? Yeah, is it not scanning your card? Is it not scanning your ticket? Do you need help?" Nope. Some have masks on, some do not.
They're apparently at Terminal 8.
Interesting, don't you think? There's more. Oh, wait, there's more. There's most definitely more. I'm going to go to that one here in a second. Here's another one. Because, again, there's been a lot of people talking about, ICE agents showing up to TSA, to these airports. And there's a lot of complaints about them not actually doing anything. So then out of nowhere, you got like friendly ICE agent guy, Papa ICE agent, you know what I mean? The cool unk, suddenly like directing traffic, which anybody else could have done this. Anybody else could have done this. But they brought an ICE agent to do this. So now ICE agents are seen assisting passengers at George Bush Airport in Houston, Texas, as massive TSA security lines wrap through the airport. A report of a 4-hour wait. It's not changing anything what he's doing here. But let's take a look at this video, and shout out to Freedom News TV, freedomnews.tv for the footage. Real talk. Got to give credit where credit is due. Let's take a look.
Hey guys, we all go into security. The line actually starts that way. So when you get up there, come on back.
And then this line for like 2 hours, and this guy just walked in and walked on.
Oh, service with a smile. Service with a mother-loving smile. Ain't that crazy? But it's all caught on camera. Look, hey, we got the nice guy. We got the nice ICE agent directing traffic to the security checkpoints. Woo! Yay. See, with the mask off and everything. Just kind, very kind and neighborly. He knows the camera's on him, obviously. And wow, he's just super neighborly now. Won't you be his neighbor? Nothing's changed. You know what they need to do is that $200 billion request that Trump has from, so he can continue doing more war overseas. How about he takes that money that he's requesting and he pays TSA agents what they're owed? Then we won't have this. Then the lines won't be as bad. Again, this is happening all over the world. This is happening all over. Sorry, not all over the world, but all over the country. $200 billion so that they can continue doing war out in the Middle East. And we got people here that can't even put food on their table and are quitting these jobs just so they can go drive an Uber. by the way, for the second time in less than half a year. Remember that. Have you seen a change yet, guys? To me, it looks the same. Man. Damn. Still going.
Usted se encuentra en la terminal 6. Agarre la parada de apoyo. Su próxima parada es el Hotel Marriott.
Ay, caramba. That's what's really going on, guys. Now the question is, I get it, it's first day, still's first day, so it could be first day jitters. They're still trying to figure out what the hell they're doing, what they're wanting to do there, how they're going to do, what is going to be standard protocol. Because again, there is rumor being said that they had no idea what they were supposed to do. They were just completely in the dark, as much as anybody else. Like, wait, what? We're going over there. So we're getting deployed here. Okay, what are we supposed to be doing, right? What are we supposed to be doing now, right? But let's take a look at this.
And happening right now in Atlanta, travelers have faced some of the worst security lines that we have seen in the past couple of days, couple of weeks at Hartsfield-Jackson. Some people standing in line for more than 4 hours earlier, as nearly a third of TSA workers call out. Well, today, ICE agents, they were sent to Atlanta and about a dozen other airports across the country to help and manage these crowds. According to DHS, we do have team coverage this afternoon with Grace King looking into some alternatives for travelers. But first, we want to go to Marissa Sarback live at the airport right now. Marissa, we know that these lines, it's kind of been an influx, a gamble. You don't know when it's going to be really bad or when it's going to be slow. You also got an update from the airport's GM, Ricky Smith, within the last 90 minutes. What are we learning?
Yeah, Faith, when I spoke with the general manager, Ricky Smith, he told me about 34 to 35% of TSA workers had called out. That's the latest stat that he has on hand. Now, I can tell you, when we first got here this afternoon, it was absolutely incredible. Right when I walked in, even at the baggage lines, there were many lines waiting just to check in and check bags. So over at baggage claim, it was super busy. Take a look now, though. It looks like just an average day here at Hartsfield-Jackson. The TSA lines are moving with absolutely no problem. We do know, as I said, severely impacted wait times earlier. ICE agents have been out here all day to help control the crowds and keep things moving.
Well, they showed up this morning, and it's my understanding they're going to remain until the government shutdown is released.
ICE agents sent in by President Trump to airports around the country to help crowd control and assist
I don't know if that's entirely true though. When he says, and they'll leave when this shutdown is over. I don't know if that's entirely true. He might like them being there, and they might stay there. You see, and in fact, I'll even say this too. As much as I'm like, well, they should learn, how the baggage how the baggage scanners are, how they do all that. In my mind, I'm like, no, they shouldn't know how to do any of this crap. They shouldn't, because then next thing you know, they're going to be running all of that, and then there won't be a need for TSA agents. You see what I'm saying? Those TSA agents need the jobs just as much as these ICE agents do, right? So again, I don't know about them learning anything except what they do right now. That would be bad. That'd be very bad. That could be a recipe for disaster, but let's continue.
TSA agents in keeping lines moving smoothly. They are not assisting in screening passengers to get them through quicker. On the airport's website, where travelers can typically find wait times, it now says, quote, due to current federal conditions, passengers are advised to allow at least 4 hours or more for domestic and international screenings.
In terms of the wait line communication, so the product that we use was actually confusing the passengers because it only measures wait time in the checkpoint, right? Our lines are well beyond the checkpoints. They're in the baggage claim area, taking the lobby. So we thought we would take it down just to remove confusion.
The general manager says the airport is attempting to gauge the wait times past the checkpoint lines manually. Video from outside Hartsfield-Jackson this morning showed lines beginning outside of the airport.
So that line over there, that's right inside door S1. I was at that door at 6:30. It's now just a touch after 8, and I'm almost to where the pre-check line starts.
The Department of Homeland Security has told us that more than 400 TSA workers all across the country have quit, and thousands more, again, all across the country, have called in sick during.
I mean, this is only getting worse. This is only getting worse. I don't see it getting any better right now with these ICE agents out here in these airports. In fact, let me show a little bit of the last half of that here too. Hold on, roll this back a tiny bit. Apparently, they say Trump was falling asleep during the most recent press conference that he had just a few hours ago. It's insane, right? But let's hear a little bit of this, because apparently there's some people who are standing in line waiting. I'd like to hear their opinions about everything here going on.
Now, that bill would require proof of citizenship before registering to vote. If lawmakers do not come.
Oh, right. Hold on. Let me roll that back, because I forgot what it's called. Safe Act, something like that. Safe Life Repairs, Safe Life Repairs. No, it's like Safe Act. I forgot what it's called. The Safe Act, something like that.
Waits are incredible. Partial government shutdown has stretched on now for about 38 days as lawmakers feud over funding the Department of Homeland Security. And today at a meeting.
Thank you, Save Act. Thank you. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Save Act.
In Memphis, President Donald.
Because apparently he even said to the Republicans, do this for Jesus. The Save America Act. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. I had a brain fart. The Save Act. He did say, do this one for Jesus. Yeah, he did say that. He said that to his Republicans. Do this one for Jesus.
Donald Trump says that he will not make a deal on funding unless Democrats back the Save America Act.
It should be part of the Homeland Security bill, and I'm requesting that the Republican senators do that immediately. You don't have to take a fast vote. Don't worry about Easter going home. In fact, Make this one for Jesus, okay?
He said, do this one for the Jesus. Do this one for Jesus. Yep. He really did. He really did say that. He said, see? He really did say that. Now, I get he was saying things in jest, but it's just hilarious that he said that out loud, especially with Easter coming up and everything. Yeah, he said, do this one for the Jesus.
Now, that bill would require proof of citizenship before registering to vote. If lawmakers do not come up with a deal to fund DHS, well, these TSA agents will continue to go unpaid. The situation at the airports, it could get worse. It's already really bad. It could get worse. More than 400 TSA officers have quit since the start of this partial shutdown.
I just heard from a source at TSA saying they have 140 plus call outs for the PM shift. So we'll see how the rest of the evening goes. If those airport lines look a little too hectic for you, there are some other options to get around. 11 Live's Grace King speaking with travelers, rethinking the skies.
Like what? Yeah, I was going to say like what? Drive? Walk to your destination? You feel me? I mean, what other choices you have? Trains and automobiles? That's all you got, guys. That's all you got. I mean, sure, you can maybe fly private, but who got them ducats like that?
With lengthy waits at the world's busiest airport.
Ridiculous. I was actually here yesterday. I missed my flight because of the TSA lines.
Travelers like Maureen Oginga are rethinking their options.
But I figured, let me try. Let me give it 2 hours, and hopefully if I do make it, I don't have to drive, but if not, I might consider driving.
Her hour-and-a-half flight to Tampa is usually the quickest way home. But after factoring in these lines, driving would be quicker.
My flight is at 7, so I figured let me just start early and see how it goes.
The same goes for other nearby cities like Charlotte. Google Maps shows taking a bus, riding the train, or driving yourself would all be faster than a 4-hour security wait and a short flight.
Imagine that by the time you pull up to like Gam Gam's house, that you are finally, that would be the same equivalent of time of you walking through the security checkpoint. So all that time that you're standing in line to go through TSA, you could literally drive and be at your destination way before you even get to the security checkpoint. People might as well ask for refunds for the tickets and call it a damn day. That's crazy. Yeah, everyone's like, ooh, driving sounds a lot more sexier than this crap. Imagine that. If you are a 4-hour drive away from your destination, you will get there faster than it is for you to get through security checkpoint. But then you also got to remember, then on top of that, you still got to get in the plane and then you still got to fly to your final destination, which could be an hour and a half, could be an hour, could be 2 hours, could be 3 hours. God only knows how far away you have to fly. But if it's a short distance, you might as well just get on a bus, rent a car or something, because it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time to stand in these lines. Real talk. Yeah, road trips look sexy as hell now.
It was like maybe 5 hours or less or something like that. Maybe that matches the time of the flight.
The biggest catch with driving right now is finding a rental car. Availability is extremely limited, and most of those one-way options will cost you $300 or $400 before gas.
Ain't that crazy? Rentals are they're running out of rentals because people are renting the cars because they're like, F it. We gonna drive. We gonna drive. Honey, we're gonna drive. Get the kids. Get the kids. Get the kids. We're going to drive. Wild, right? Wild. And then the dad has to say 15 times over, if you ask me one more time, are we there yet? You get what I'm saying. All right. We have got to get into this part. We haven't talked about anything that's going on in Iran. And we could just hit the when it comes to the Middle East and the war in the Middle East. Well, we have got to delve into what's going on overseas. And I got to be honest, guys, there's a part of me that feels like Trump is manipulating the market. He is saying certain things to manipulate the market. I know some of y'all are going to be like, no, he's not. He's perfect. He can't do no wrong. He's perfect. Don't say nothing about my mans. Well, here's the thing. He's been saying a lot of things as of late, and a lot of it has been a little bit weird. Okay? Let's just say this really quick. Remember how a couple of days ago he said, hey, man, hey, Iran, what's up, man? You got 48 hours. You got 48 hours to open them legs up and let us get right in through with that mother lover and let all the goods come out of the Strait of Hormuz. Or if you don't, we're going to blow everything up that you even know and hold dear in your heart. We're going to destroy every power grid, every energy infrastructure you can think of. So you best open her up, baby, or hell will be coming, right? Now, just so you know, 24 hours is about to be over here very, very soon. Very, very soon. Very few short hours from now. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this morning, I even said it in a video, and in short, like I said, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification bell, okay? So that you know when I go live, whenever I upload, even the shorts, even the short videos are important, guys, okay? Even the quickies are good, all right? They're full of information. They're all action-packed. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you have that notification bell set to all right? Now, here's the thing. Yes, just earlier today, I said, wait, what's going on here? Because he instantly this morning said, oh yeah, we're gonna halt strikes on the power grids and the emergency, the energy infrastructure. We're not doing that anymore because we've been having great talks with Iran. Things are looking up. Everything's coming up roses. But here's the problem. Here's the kicker. Iran came back and said, wait, what conversations did we have with who? We didn't have any conversation with you. The hell you talking about? What crack you be on? What are you talking about? We haven't talked to you at all, bro. So what are you talking about? Now there are people that are wondering, is Trump saying all of this to manipulate the market? Because as soon as he says something like, oh yeah, we're doing great. No, I'm not going to bomb anything anymore. Don't worry. We're going to work on getting the Strait of Hormuz open, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly, prices on barrels of oil plummet. But as soon as anything bad happens, the price of a barrel of oil skyrockets. It spikes back up. What's interesting is that he said this, and that's exactly what happened. The price dropped. The world market suddenly started to even itself out, and it wasn't in a basic meltdown countdown. You see what I'm saying? So the question is, could he be saying this just so he can get the world market on point and manipulate the market so he doesn't look like the butthole and the brunt of the problem? But if you notice, anytime he has said something, what has happened? Anything that sounds positive, like the Strait of Hormuz will be open, we're going to go over there and we're going to make sure it stays open, blah, blah, blah. What happens? The market calms down. But if Iran goes, we're going to make it rain, nothing but the fire in the sky, then what happens? Market skyrockets. They're like, oil? What are you talking about, oil? We ain't giving you no oil. Prices go up. The market skyrockets, right? But then as soon as Trump walks in, he says something different. Everyone suddenly calms down and believes what he's saying is to be true. We got to talk about that because he could be manipulating, and that's not a good thing. He could be lying solely to try to get the market back down, to calm it down so it doesn't implode on itself, right? So here's the thing. Iran taunts Trump's ceasefire claim with chilling threat as announcement sparks market turmoil. So Iran has taunted Donald Trump after he claimed the U.S. was halting strikes in Iranian energy infrastructure following what he called very good peace talks with Tehran. So an Iranian official told Fars news agency, which is aligned with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, that there is no direct or indirect contact with Trump. But Trump is saying something else. The unnamed source said Trump backed down after hearing that our targets would include all power stations in West Asia. So his butthole puckered up. Trump's butthole puckered up. And then suddenly said, oh, never mind. No. All power stations in West Asia are about to be targeted. If I hit them, they're going to hit that. No, we good. And he could very well be saying, this is exactly what I planned. We're going to seize strikes on Iran. Could that be what's going on here too? Iranian Major General Abdullahi said the use of a new secret weapon will begin soon and will bring an end to the enemy's operations. The taunt came just minutes after Trump claimed the two countries had held a productive conversation regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostiles, which makes no bloody sense, by the way. Markets lurched on Trump's announcement, initially surging before pulling back. Brent crude, the global oil benchmark, swung from $92 a barrel to as high as $103 in the chaotic trading. The Dow swung 700 points before the opening bell, and was last up around 1.4%. Trump said he had ordered the Pentagon to, quote unquote, postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for 5 whole days. This is what they said, speaking to Fox Business and CNBC on Monday morning as he sought to soothe markets. So he could be saying this crap just to calm everything down financially. But in actuality, maybe he never had a conversation with Iran, with any powers that be in Iran, because Iran is coming back and saying, hell no, we ain't had no conversation with this mother lover. What you talking about, bro? If he had a conversation with somebody, it was sure for damn sure wasn't us. And by the way, Iran is still launching missiles. They're still firing, launching missiles as we speak. So this isn't stopping anything that's been going on overseas. He warned that the cessation of the strikes was subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. So his ceasefire announcement comes after he threatened over the weekend to bomb, like we said, the electricity grid, unless the regime reopened the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours. But now he's moved that 48 hours to 5 whole days. Iran responded by ignoring Trump's deadline, vowing to strike water and energy facilities in the Middle East. Trump had downplayed any sense of ongoing diplomacy with Tehran amid the secret peace talks this weekend. With who he had these conversations with, we do not know. Iranian authorities also warned they would deploy naval mines across the Gulf on Monday if the U.S. attempted to invade its coastline or islands. And remember, Trump is eyeballing the possibility of taking over Karg Island. Don't forget that too. Now Iran knows that he's interested and that he's eyeballing the possible takeover and invasion of that particular island. And now they're saying, you better not invade. you better not show up or anything of that sort, or you're going to be in some serious mother-loving trouble. Now, here's the thing. Trump is even doubling down on this in a meeting or in this impromptu video that he interview that he had before he hopped on to Air Force One. Let's take a listen to this. I'm going to jump ahead because they move from one spot to a different spot.
That hasn't been conveyed. The communication, as you know, has been blown to pieces. They're unable to talk to each other. But we've had very strong talks. Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner had them. They went, I would say, perfectly. I would say that if they carry through with that, it'll end that problem, that conflict. And I think it'll end it very, very substantially. We have very much in mind our partners in the Middle East. We've had great relationships with a lot of them, as you know. A lot of them were surprisingly hit, and I was surprised to see it, and so was everyone else. But we have, they're very much in mind in the discussions. So the discussions took place yesterday. They went into yesterday evening. They want very much to make a deal. We'd like to make a deal too. We're going to get together today by probably phone, because it's very hard to find a country. It's very hard for them to get out, I guess. But we'll at some point very, very soon meet. We're doing a 5-day period. We'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we're going to end up with settling this. Otherwise, we'll just keep bombing our little hearts out.
So again, remember, he still has Marines, sailors, and more warships on their way to the Middle East. Let's not forget that too, guys. So as much as he's like, yeah, we're going to stop, we're going to slow down, we're going to do X, Y, and Z because we're talking and everything, and then in the next 5 days, then we're going to take them out like in the likes they've never seen before. This is a lie. I don't believe this to be true at all. I don't. I'm sorry. I believe it when I see it, but I don't believe this to be true. Again, you got Iran responding and saying, we did not have this meeting that you're talking about. We did not have peace talks, or we did not have a very productive and positive conversation with you, Trump. So what's going on here? So in other words, it seems like he's like, you know what? I'm not about to do anything too crazy yet. So I'm going to give them 5 more days. And if they don't do anything within those 5 days, and we still are just maintaining this same status quo, what we're dealing with right now, then yes, I'm going to just bomb them bomb them off the face of this planet. That's basically what the vibe I'm getting here.
Steve Witkoff speaking with Mr. President. A top person. Don't forget, we've wiped out the leadership phase 1, phase 2, and largely phase 3. But we're dealing with the man who I believe is the most respected and the leader. It's a little tough. We've wiped out everybody.
Is that the Supreme Leader?
No, not the Supreme Leader. We don't. Well, nobody heard of the second Supreme Leader, the son.
Are these direct?
Nobody. We have not heard from the son. Every once in a while, you'll see a statement made, but we haven't. We don't know if he's living. But the people that seem to be running it, and they seem that based on really fact, because things they've said have taken place.
Mr. President,
again.
Mr. President, I know you've deployed.
Because I don't want him to be killed. Okay, I don't want him to be killed.
Mr. President, you deployed.
Nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants that job right now. Nobody's exactly looking forward to being the head of that particular country. But perhaps we'll be able to solve that problem.
Mr. President, you've deployed ICE agents to American airports. Newsmax, sir. You've deployed ICE agents.
You're not doing a very good job.
You've deployed ICE agents.
You're not doing a good job. Did you hear me? Okay, go ahead.
What exactly do you want from these talks?
I'm taking CNN over Newsmax.
What exactly are you looking for in these talks, Mr. President?
We're looking for all of the things that we've been talking about. We want to see no nuclear bomb, no nuclear weapon, not even close to it. Low key on the missiles. We want to see peace in the Middle East. We want the nuclear dust. We're going to want that. And I think we're going to get that. We've agreed to that. Yeah, we've agreed to that.
You want the enriched uranium before you can end this.
And we want no enrichment, but we also want the enriched uranium. If this happens, it's a great start for Iran to build itself back, and it's everything that we want. And it's also great for Israel, and it's great for the other Middle Eastern countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all of them, Kuwait and Bahrain in particular. So it's great for all of them.
If the war is ending, do you still need $200 billion?
It's always nice to have. It's always nice to have. It's a very inflamed world, and the Democrats inflame it. You know, largely the Democrats inflame it. Let me just talk about the others. So ICE has done very well. I've requested. Now, you know, I'm a big believer that they should be able to wear masks when they go and hunt down, you know, murderers, criminals, and others. But for purposes of the airport, I've requested that they take off the mask. I don't like it for the airport, and I believe they are willing to do that.
Mr. President, ICE wear masks, not at the airport, but they need to do it when they're out in the country.
The people coming into the airport, typically speaking, aren't murderers, killers, drug dealers, etc. There may be a few of them, but there aren't many. They're people that want to come into the country, or that people want to leave the country, go into maybe their home country. So I didn't think it was an appropriate look for an airport. I think it's a very appropriate look when they're out on the street trying to find one of the 11,888 murderers that Sleepy Joe Biden led into our country.
Elon Musk, sir.
Last year you gave a $10,000 bonus. Last year you gave a $10,000 bonus to TSA workers who kept showing up to work during the shutdown. Will you do that again?
Well, it could happen. It's amazing. There are people that are really, really loyal and great, and it's not easy for them. And this is all caused by the Democrats. It's just so you know, all this money was approved. Everything was approved. This is done. The Democrats went in, and they want to have radical left lunatics come into our country. They want to have drug dealers. They want to have murderers come into our country. They want to have open borders, and we're not letting it happen. That's what this is all about. They don't want voter ID. They don't want proof of citizenship. They don't want mail-in ballots. They're so corrupt. What they want, the only thing they want is mail-in ballots. So we also added, as you know, into the Save America Act. And it's called Save America. It's not the Save Act. But we added no transgender mutilization of our children and no men in women's sports.
Elon Musk, sir, if these talks go well and you reach
I don't think he's going to be a Newsmax.
If these talks go well and you reach a ceasefire agreement with Iran, do you believe Israel would abide by that agreement?
I think Israel will be very happy with what we have. We just spoke to Israel a little while ago. I think they'll be very happy. This will be peace for Israel, long-term peace, guaranteed peace. If this happens, and you know I can't guarantee it, but I think it's going to. My life is a deal. That's all I do is deals my whole life. I think this is something that's going to happen. And why wouldn't it happen? So tomorrow morning sometime, their time, we were expected to blow up their largest electric generating plants that cost over $10 billion to build. It's a very good one. There was no dearth of money. And one shot, it's gone. It collapses. Why would they want that? So they called. I didn't call. They called. They want to make a deal. And we are very willing to make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. And it's got to be no more wars, no more nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons anymore. They're agreeing to that. Any of that stuff, there's no deal.
They offered to reopen. You said you want to get the enriched uranium. How are you going to get the enriched uranium? Are you going to?
It's very easy. If we have a deal with them, we're going down and we'll take it ourselves.
Can I ask you, the Treasury lifted sanctions on Iranian oil that was out to sea. You criticized President Obama for giving Iran $1.7 billion.
Well, I just want to have as much oil in the system as possible.
But Iran is
and we don't even know if Iran gets that money. Frankly, I think it's very hard for them to get it. But you have ships that are out there that are loaded up with oil. Rather than keep it there, I would rather see it go to the system. Any small amount of money that Iran gets is not going to have any difference in this war. But I want to have the system be lubricated.
Even $14 billion, you don't think helps them?
Where's the $14 billion?
Because the inflated price, they get $14 billion from the.
I don't think they're getting the money. I could tell you, when this is all over, I will tell you who's getting the money.
Mr. President, the Marines from California, given that it'll take them weeks to arrive, is the intention to police the strait or take car?
What are you talking about?
Well, it's been reported that there are Marines that left California, left San Diego last week, at the end of the week. Why are they headed there now?
Well, let me ask you this. If you were in my position and I asked you that question, do you really believe I'd give you that? It's a crazy question.
Mr. President.
Interesting, right? They're like, why? Because, you know, we're asking logical questions, guys. We're all asking the same logical questions because we're all absolutely brilliant. We're all absolutely amazing individuals. Let's not forget that. And he's not willing to give us the answer. He's just basically saying that we're dumb and idiotic for asking a very logical question. If you say that you're winding down and you're saying that this is over and it's done, why are Marines still being deployed right now? What are they doing over there? What's the point of sending them over there if you're saying that you're having great talks, things are changing, so on and so forth, you're halting strikes on power grids, etc.? You know, I have a crazy theory. This is my theory here really quick. My theory is he was sitting on his porcelain throne by himself, and he was by himself with his phone. Yes, I think he literally was sitting there by himself with his phone, and he just felt a little squirrely. And so you sent out that tweet. You have 48 hours. You have 48 hours to get your ish in line. If not, I'm dropping bombs. And I'm dropping bombs on places that are going to affect not only just the regime, but your Iranian people. 48 hours. And then he hit send. And then somebody else found out about it. And they're like, no, why? Why did you do that? President Trump, no. Right? Maybe he's doing a little backpedaling now. Because he realized, ooh, that was that was not the best of choices. I'm just going, how about this? We'll push it back 5 days. Because remember, I'm sure, was expecting it to be a massive reaction where they were just going to be like, sure, boss. We'll open up the Strait of Hormuz. We don't want nothing happening to our power grids and our energy infrastructure. Sure, boss. Right now, boss. But that's not exactly what happened now, is it? They said, oh, okay, we're not doing anything different. We're not opening it up at all. In fact, we're going to make sure this mother lover stays closed. And he's like, oh, that didn't work. Eesh. Oh, let's not forget, oil prices skyrocket. The market starts losing its mind. Things start to plummet. Things start to go sky high. Prices sky high. The stock market plummets, etc. What do you think is going to happen? He's like, maybe I spoke too soon. How about 5 days? And we're having a great conversation with Iran. We're working it out. Very high up person. Can't tell you who it is that we're discussing a change and possible peace. But it's happening. It's hard to believe it, guys. It's really hard to believe this.
Talk about strategy. Yeah?
Another young woman was killed by an illegal immigrant that was let in under the Biden administration.
Let in by Biden.
Give a message for her family.
It's devastating. These people were let in by Biden. We're getting them out. We're getting them out fast. That's why ICE is so important. They're doing such a good job. This animal, I saw the whole thing last night. They gave me a briefing. Came in through Joe Biden with his open door policy and his border czar, Kamala, who never saw the border. Never made one phone call. All the ICE people, you see, they all know me. Everyone knows me. They like me. I speak to them all the time. Didn't make one phone call during 4 years. She was the border czar to anybody on the border. Never went there. This person came in through the open door policy of Joe Biden, and we have others. We're taking them out by the tens of thousands. We're doing a great job, but it's a shame. They've hurt our country. Just remember this. Joe Biden and that gang of radical left lunatics, some very smart, but radical left and bad ideology, sick people. These people have hurt our country very badly.
Are we directly talking with Iran?
Hitting those Iranian power plants. How is that different from what Russia has been doing in Ukraine by hitting Ukrainian power plants?
Well, I think it's a lot different. And if you look at the nuclear weapons that they wanted to have, that they wanted to possess, a lot of things are different. I'm not a fan of what Russia's doing either, just so you understand. All right. But it's a lot different. You're talking about a country that has been evil for 47 years. They've been horrible. Death all over the world, not just us. Look at the way they attacked unexpectedly all of those countries surrounding them. It was not supposed to be. Nobody was even thinking about it. But they wanted to take over the Middle East, and they wanted to knock out Israel permanently. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have been able to do that.
Are we the president talking to Iran?
Mr. President, do you know whether Joe Kent was leaking?
Look, I'm not a fan of the guy. If you look at, and you never cover this, if you look at his truths or whatever he went on, if it's X or truth, if you look at his truths or his statements, he was all for everything. All of a sudden, he wasn't. He was a man that I met at Dover. He came and his wife was killed. He remarried fairly quickly. His wife was killed, and I felt badly for him. He ran for Congress, he lost. He ran for Congress again, and he lost. I said, you know, he's a guy, nice guy, seemed like a very nice guy. I met him, he was pretty heartbroken.
Wait for it.
But I said, you know, it's a shame. He ran for Congress twice. Call him up, give him a job in the White House. Smart. They gave him a job in the White House, and this is what he does to me, you know? Being a nice guy doesn't pay off too much. Think of it. He loses twice in Congress, ran not very good campaigns, should have won, but he loses twice. How do I get him? I have my people call him, because I didn't deal with him for the most part. I saw him a couple of times, but I never dealt with him at all. I had no idea his ideology was left or right, whatever it is. I can say this. He said very strongly that Iran is not a threat. Iran's been a threat for 47 years, and there's not a country in the world that doesn't agree with me on that. So I take this guy, Joe Kent, who lost twice for Congress, pretty badly and tough, and was devastated. And I know that he lost his wife. So instead of letting him live out his life, I brilliantly have my people call him and offer him a job in security, essentially.
Do you see what happened there? He just said the same damn thing three or four times in a row. Yeah. Hold on. He's literally slipping. He's slipping right here. No one noticed that? He basically said the same crap about Joe Kent about 3 or 4 times in a row. Not like he was trying to tell the story and add more to the story. It's just the same thing that he's saying over and over and over again. He's literally slipping. He's slipping right here. Hold on. And Fox starts to kind of like they fade out. They change the subject. Like they cut to something else. They leave this press conference because he keeps repeating himself.
In the White House. And what does he do? He goes out and he says that Iran is not a threat to get publicity. Now, he probably signed up with CNN or maybe he signed up with your division of Newsmax. I don't know.
President Trump taking many questions there outside of Air Force One on his way to Memphis in a moment, taking a lot of questions, especially about Iran.
He's losing it right there. I'm sorry, guys. I need you guys to hear this again. Look, he is literally saying the same thing over and over and over again.
Joe Biden and that gang of ideology.
With Iran?
Well, I think it's a lot different. Things been evil for 47 years. They've been horrible. Death all over the world, not just us. Look at the way they attacked unexpectedly all of those countries surrounding it. It was not supposed to be. Nobody was even thinking about it.
Nobody was thinking about it. But that wasn't part of the plan now. Right? But Iran is, of course, they got the element of surprise too. Am I right?
But they wanted to take over the Middle East and they wanted to knock out Israel permanently.
Was leaking?
So true. If you look at his truths or his statements, he was all for everything. All of a sudden, he wasn't.
Take a look at this. This is crazy. He repeats himself over and over and over again. I think it's like 3 times in a row that he says the same crap. That's why Fox is like, okay, let's go ahead and pan out and let's go to the next subject, because they know he's saying the same crap over and over again.
He was
right here.
A man that I met at Dover. He came and his wife was killed. He remarried fairly quickly. His wife was killed.
Him of all people should know. Okay, we're gonna continue, but this is round 1 of him talking about Joe Kent. Okay,
and I felt badly for him. He ran for Congress, he lost. He ran for Congress again and he lost. I said, he's a guy, nice guy, seemed like a very nice guy. I met him. He was pretty heartbroken, but I said, it's a shame. He ran for Congress twice. Call him up, give him a job in the White House. Smart. They gave him a job in the White House, and this is what he does to me. Being a nice guy doesn't pay off too much. Think of it. He loses twice in Congress, ran not very good campaigns, should have won, but he loses twice. How do I get him? I have my people call him, because I didn't deal with him for the most part. I saw him a couple of times, but I never dealt with him at all. I had no idea his ideology was left or right, whatever it is. I can say this. He said very strongly that Iran is not a threat. Iran's been a threat for 47 years, and there's not a country in the world that doesn't agree with me on that. So I take this guy, Joe Kent, who lost twice for Congress, pretty badly and tough, and was devastated. And I know that he lost his wife. So instead of letting him live out his life, I brilliantly have my people call him and offer him a job in security, essentially, in the White House. And what does he do? He goes out and he says that Iran is not a threat to get publicity. Now, I probably signed up with CNN or maybe signed up with your division of Newsmax. I don't know.
President Trump taking many questions there outside of Air Force One on his way to Memphis in a
I mean, that's crazy. He's still saying.
moment, taking a lot of questions.
He's still talking about it. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's definitely, and it's like he's just on repeat, saying the same thing over and over and over again, because he's in his fifis about this situation, about Joe Kent saying that this war in Iran was not needed, was not warranted, and that there was no imminent threat from Iran at all. Crazy. Just absolutely crazy. Hold on. So the national, nah, it's okay. Man, oh man. One second, guys. I think that there's going to be a lot of people starting to kind of walk away from certain political parties here very, very soon. Just my thoughts personally. I just don't think that there is I think there's a lot of people that are really mad about what's going on with this war. Yes, I know that there's other people that are diehard. Okay, let's not forget there's the other side. There are a lot of people that are diehard that are so supportive of this war. They appreciate what Trump is doing and all that, but there's a good portion of the world that's not okay with this either. Or a good portion of the country that's not okay with this either. And now you got, like I said, you got people who usually vote Republican that are thinking about voting Democrat this time around. I mean, it's crazy because of what's going on. And, you know, we're not really getting truth. We're not getting truth straightforward. It's a lot of, you got to go through a whole bunch of different avenues just to get a little semblance of truth. That's a problem. That's a massive problem. That's a massive, massive problem. And as much as it's like, hey, you know, we're working things out. No, they're still like this. Look, some updates. More Iranian missiles reported over Israel. The IDF has detected its 5th Iranian missile attack of the day, this time targeting the Eilat area in southern Israel. Hopefully I'm saying that area correctly. But hey, look at that. Ain't that about to shut your mouth? IDF detects Iranian missile en route to Israel. The IDF tonight said it has detected a new Iranian ballistic missile attack. Alarms have reportedly been sounded in the Israeli cities of Dimona and Yeruham, while residents in the Jerusalem area reported hearing loud explosions. The military said defensive systems are operating to intercept the threat. And now we're even hearing that the Iron Dome isn't Iron Doming right now. It's not as successful with deflecting or destroying these missiles from actually penetrating the Iranian the Iranian cities that are being targeted. So again, you know, there's a whole lot of bad that's happening, guys. A whole lot of bad. Let's take a look at this. This has to do with the plane that just crashed.
Guest was on that flight. Jack Cabot was returning from spring break in Montreal. He's a senior in college. And Jack, we appreciate you joining us here today. First, how are you doing today?
I think he is feeling a little rattled, but I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones.
Yeah. I know right now, Jack, that you're headed back to school, back to Ithaca. And I understand you've had some car trouble, but you're joining us there along the road. And we appreciate you doing so to share us a little bit of your experience. So tell us what you did experience last night.
I mean, you know, it was a regular flight and everybody braces for impact. And there's always a little bit of a sense of nervousness as any plane comes for a landing. But pretty quickly after we touched ground, it all felt very wrong. The brakes were kind of being hit in a way that was very hard. And then all of a sudden, right when I was starting to think there might be something wrong, it was just a very loud bang. And we all pretty much just didn't know whether we were going to make it. I mean, it's like being in a gigantic car crash at 200 miles an hour. It's just not a good spot to be.
Right. So when you hit the runway, when you landed, you knew something immediately was wrong in terms of how quickly the pilot seemed to hit the brakes. It all happened very fast.
Yeah, I mean, it all happened in 3-4 seconds. It was from landing to hitting the truck and running into those firemen, and then to when the plane actually came to a stop and we all finally had a moment of relief. It all just happened in the blink of an eye.
Where were you seated in the plane, Jack?
I was in seat 18A, which was the row in front of the escape row. And honestly, I'm going to probably take that seat again.
You know, Jack, you've described it as chaos. I'm curious, After you felt the impact, and I've seen other passengers say, then the plane sort of turned sideways and began to skid a little bit sideways. How long was it before you were kind of capable of figuring out what exactly happened?
Pretty much as soon as we got out of the plane. I mean, from inside the plane, it's really hard to tell why the plane is in the situation it's in. But as soon as you get out and you see the entire front of the plane just completely destroyed and the plane not where it's supposed to be, I mean, you quickly realize something gone very wrong.
Right. I've seen the numbers. 40-something people were injured, many of whom were transported to the hospital, most of whom I think have now been released, so the injuries were not life-threatening. When you were on the plane and after you made impact, what was it like around you on the plane? Were there people that were injured?
You know, on impact, there was a lot of people that were hurt. There was, like, I remember turning around and the person to my right had a bloody nose and a bleeding forehead, and that had gone kind of a little bit all over the place. And you turned around and everybody was bleeding. But there was some people that really like stepped up to the moment, and they were quickly like, we're going to get the escape door, we're going to get everybody out, we're going to do this in a line, we're going to be organized. Like there was people that really stepped up in that moment when, I mean, there was nobody in the plane staff to help us at that point.
That's incredible. It's just your fellow passengers. Several stood up, several took charge and started to help people exit.
Yeah, you never think, like, when they tell you, are you ready for the emergency escape row, that you're really going to have to do something. But those people there really did.
That's incredible. And when you did stand up, Jack, it looks like, and we can see the images on our screen. I'm not sure that you would be able to see that where you are right now on the side of the row, but we've seen the images. I know you have as well. It's all of the damage is towards the front of the plane. Were you able to look down the aisle and see what was happening up towards the front of the plane?
Yeah, it looked, it was pretty hard to see. It was pretty dark and there wasn't a lot of power in the plane, but yeah, you kind of saw that the front of the plane was completely destroyed.
Yeah. Well, Jack, we're really pleased and happy that you're safe.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that whole thing is terrifying. I mean, imagine, college student, you're just trying to do your thing, get home from a fun trip, etc. And then all of a sudden just ish hits the fan, Here's looks like there's another passenger, a completely different passenger speaks out about this as well. Let's take a look at this.
The passengers who was on board at the time of the crash was a former News 12 employee.
And she's joining us right now, actually, to talk about what is just such a scary situation. Rebecca LaCourie. Rebecca, thank you so much. I just cannot even imagine. So I will just ask you to describe what those moments were like.
So right before the crash, as we were descending, the flight attendant said something very eerie that I normally have never heard before landing. She said, in case of an emergency landing, do not grab your luggage. And everybody was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And then as we were descending, we hit a lot of turbulence. So she said, please, everyone, the pilot is saying for everyone to keep your seatbelts on.
So it was already crappy and choppy on the way down to begin with. And then oh, dear Lord. I'm sorry. That's like, man, I'd be like, give me a stiff drink immediately. As soon as I get off this plane, give me a stiff drink. I can't do this, man. I'm calling my mama. I'm calling everybody I know and being like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Oh my dear God. That's just terrifying. Terrifying, guys.
We're hitting a lot of turbulence. And then we landed very roughly. It was a rough landing. Like when we landed, everyone felt it. It just like the plane like jolted, and you heard the pilot try to brake, like he was trying to prevent the collision that occurred. And as you heard the brake, you just, a couple seconds later, it was just a very loud boom.
Yeah.
And everybody just jolted out of their seats. People hit their heads. People were bleeding. I was sitting in the emergency row and I was right next to the emergency exit, but I was waiting for guidance from like flight crew. But that didn't happen because they were in the front of the plane. And as you know, the front of the plane was extremely damaged. I didn't realize that. So I'm asking everyone around me if they're okay. And then one of the passengers screamed to me like, please open the exit door. And I was like, of course. So we opened the exit door, and there was no slide for us. A lot of people slid off of the wing of the plane getting out. And then by the time I got out, there was emergency personnel, and someone was able to assist me sliding off of the wing. And once we got off of the wing, they had us standing next to an emergency vehicle. And that's when we were able to see the extensive damage of the plane, on top of people just like bleeding and bumps and bruises. It was a very harrowing scene. We were all emotional, and it was just very scary. It happened so quickly. But I will say everyone on the plane was helping each other. There was nobody like stampeding over anybody. Everybody collectively worked together to get out.
That's what's up. Everybody was, just they did everything in an orderly fashion. No one was hopping over each other. There was no, none of that,
out of the plane. And everyone was very traumatized because we know that the pilots unfortunately didn't make it, and the flight attendant was seriously injured, in addition to the firemen in the truck. So it was.
They say there's reports that the actual flight attendant was thrown hundreds of feet. That's what they're saying right now. That one of the flight attendants was actually thrown hundreds of feet at when the crash happened. She still survived. She's still alive, which is amazing. But they're saying it was a miracle that she's even still alive to tell her to live another day. So this is really, really crazy.
It was just a very scary scene, and it was a long night because our flight kept getting delayed for different reasons. We were supposed to depart at 8:30, and then it was like a 15 to 20 minute interval of delays until we finally boarded at around shortly after 10, and the plane crash happened around right before 11:30 p.m. And then we were at the airport for quite some time. I didn't get home till close to 5.
Rebecca, obviously you're talking to us now, and we should mention also that Rebecca, when she left News 12, she left to become a nurse. So you are the right person to be in that emergency row. You are the right person to stay calm in that situation. Having said that, are you okay? Are your loved ones okay? Did anyone have to go to the hospital? Did anyone get injured that you know?
So I was flying alone. I actually flew to Canada. It was a 1-day trip for my cousin's baby shower. And I was like, okay, I'm going to come home and it's going to be simple. I was able to stay calm in the situation. I didn't realize I had my family members. I had my husband, my mother, and my brother set up as emergency contacts in case anything happens. And my iPhone actually alerted all 3 of them right as the crash happened that they got an emergency text saying Rebecca LaCoury has been detected to be in a crash. They got sent my location. So my husband was actually on the way to come pick me up, and he was calling me after he got the text. And he was like, this is crazy. God wouldn't do this to me. My wife has to be okay. And I wasn't picking up. He called me 3 to 4 times. But when he called me, it was around the time that I was getting out of the plane. And so by the time I called him back, the only thing I said to him was, yes, I was in a plane crash and I'm safe. Right now, I am in pain from my neck down to my knees. My legs are sore. Everything is sore just from the impact of us being thrusted forward. So because I was away from my children, I want to see them before they go to school this morning. And then I'm going to go get checked out at the ER just to make sure everything's okay, because even breathing is a little painful. I feel bruising from the seatbelt that I had on just from the impact and the seatbelt being just on my skin. So I'm just happy to be alive. I'm thankful that I get to kiss my sons this morning before they go to school.
No doubt.
And I just, I wouldn't have never pictured a 1-hour flight that I've done countless times because I have family that lives in Montreal ending like this in such a fatality, and just getting an update that it was the worst plane crash in the last 50 years at LaGuardia. It's like, I came home and I tried to go to sleep, but my heart was racing. So I decided to get up and just get into mom mode and start packing lunch and doing things just to keep my mind busy. Because every time I tried to close my eyes, I could hear the crash. I could hear the other passengers screaming. I could hear everyone asking, "Are you okay?" It just really feels surreal that I survived it and I'm able to come home and just see my family. That's such an underrated blessing that I just feel like I'm very incredibly blessed.
Yeah, you could basically say that again. It is definitely she is definitely one of the lucky ones. I mean, all of them that were on that plane, except for the two pilots that lost their lives. May they rest in peace. Yeah, she's very lucky. And yeah, lawsuit coming, possibly from every single person on that mother loving plane. Just saying. It sounded like it was a very rough landing, very rough to get down, then a very rough landing, then that fire truck. Why was that fire truck driving across the runway? I don't know why. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I can see lawsuits coming. That is definitely, I feel for sure, going to come down to it, for sure. Let me just see. I'm just checking to see if there's any other updates going on here. In the meantime, I'm going to do some of these super chats here too. Just trying to see if there's any other thizangs going on right quick, Yeah, people are actually praising the pilots for doing what they did. Apparently, they without them doing what they did, I guess then this could have been even more catastrophic. This is also very interesting. So now, hold on.
U.S. and Iran are negotiating, announcing he'll pause This morning, President Trump says the U.S. and Iran are negotiating, announcing he'll pause military strikes on Iranian power plants for 5 days after he'd set a deadline over the weekend demanding that Iran fully open the Strait of Hormuz by tonight or face its power plants being obliterated.
Tonight, hold on.
Fully open the Strait of Hormuz for 5 days after he'd set a deadline over the weekend demanding that Iran fully open the Strait of Hormuz by tonight or face its power plants being obliterated. Hours before Trump's post, overnight, Israel launched what the Israeli military called a wide-scale wave of strikes targeting Iranian terror regime infrastructure in Tehran. Israel's impatience may have come from this. Whoa! 2 Iranian missiles slipped through Israeli air defenses Saturday, exploding into buildings, wounding more than 100 people. The locations are significant and sensitive, Arad and Dimona. Both are near facilities linked to Israel's unacknowledged but widely known nuclear weapons program. Iran hit them after Israel and the United States targeted Natanz, an Iranian nuclear site. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Sunday's Meet the Press.
Just to put a fine point on this, though, is the president in the process of winding down this war or escalating the conflict?
Again, they're not mutually exclusive. Sometimes you have to escalate to de-escalate.
Iran was preparing to escalate as well,
Have
threatening
mercy.
before Trump's statement this morning that if power plants are attacked, Iran will, in a retaliatory action, target the power plants of the occupying regime and the power plants of regional countries. Trump, however, did not make any announcement about the several thousand U.S. troops making their way to the region to force open Hormuz and potentially occupy Iranian islands or coasts. Iran this morning says if American troops do that, it will mine the straits, saying the entire Persian Gulf will be practically blocked. There are still many questions that are unanswered. For one, the Iranian military is calling this something about celebration. They say that this was typical capitulation by President Trump, so them claiming victory. But the Iranian foreign ministry, representing the government, is expressing somewhat confusion, saying they weren't involved in these talks. They don't know exactly what President Trump is talking about. So the military, in a way, celebrating victory, the government expressing not concern, but scratching its head somewhat. And there is this outstanding question about the American troops. Are they still coming to the region, or has that changed too?
That hasn't changed. That is still happening. You heard Trump in his little presser right outside of the Air Force One. He said, I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do with those troops. I'm not going to tell you why we're having those troops over there. And they got 3 more weeks until they're over there. So anything's possible. Anything's possible. You never know. They may be doing that in hopes that we'll forget in the next month, like within a month. And then they'll go and, attack and do whatever they need to do. Maybe that's why they're taking a month to get over there. I mean, sailing takes time. But you see what I'm saying? So again, something is weird. Something weird is going on, for sure. And for Trump to sit there and say, oh yeah, we've had great talks, but then Iran is sitting there going like, we don't know what you're talking about, homie. We have not had a great talk. They're still shooting missiles to Israel. They're still dropping bombs on each other. So good conversation? I think not so far. I think not. Now, this was as of 32 minutes ago, but they're saying White House won't say whether U.S. officials will meet with Iran for more talks, if those talks did happen. So ask for comment on whether U.S. officials will meet this week with Iran or intermediaries for further talks. The White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt said, these are sensitive diplomatic discussions and the U.S. will not negotiate through the press. Interesting. This is a fluid situation, and speculation about meetings should not be deemed as final until they are formally announced by the White House. So in other words, ain't none of your damn business, and we ain't going to tell you anything. When you need to know, you'll know. We ain't telling you nothing, but when you need to know, you'll know. Interesting. Let me get some of these super chats here really quick. Cryptocurrency. I see that. I see what you did there. Thank you so much for becoming a member. And just like cryptocurrency, please become a member. Consider becoming a member, by hitting that join button down below. Support the channel if you can. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Shars, thank you so much for being a member for the past 4 months. I appreciate it. The world has become really crazy. This is very bad indeed. Yep. I don't think it's going to get any better. You never know. Here's the thing. I always hold on to a little tiny fleck of hope when all bad things are hitting all at the same time. There's always, in my mind, I'm like, there's got to be some glimmer of hope in here. So maybe something good will come out of the situation. Maybe not. All I can say is there's a lot of people that are saying we all better get prepared. We all better get ready. How you get ready, I have no clue. I don't know. And I don't know what they mean exactly by we better get ready. You see what I'm saying? Getting ready could be so many different things, y'all. It can mean so many different things. So get ready, but keep on holding on to hope, right? Peg Deb, thank you so much for the love. And thank you so much for being a member for almost a whole year. I appreciate it. Thank you, Pascal, for all the coverage. Praying for everyone everywhere. Stay safe, fam. Yes. Stay safe to everybody. Real talk. We are living in some wild times, and there are more catastrophic things that keep on happening. Are these connected? Are they not? I don't know. I think that what happened in LaGuardia was human error. I really do think that was an honest, terrible, terrible mistake. but I don't think it had anything to do with what's going on overseas. I really don't. I think what will happen if there is some sort of attack in the States, it'll be much more blatant. Like it'll be much more on the nose, in your face, right? General Genobi, what's up? Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Trump turned down agreement for TSA due to SAVE Act. ATC was short for decades. Doge, fired hundreds, including almost done probation. Oh, including almost done probation, and they haven't been fired. They haven't been hiring. They haven't been hiring controllers working double shifts for months. Now, here's the thing: if that's wild to hear that information, I didn't know about the TSAs working that much. That then they're overworked, and then next thing you know, they're not making any money. You see what I'm saying? Now they're still working the same amount of time. They're getting worked to the bone, but they're still not making any money. That's really, really bad. Yeah, you're right. The TSA situation, he wants the SAVE Act. He really wants that SAVE Act. Why do you think he wants the SAVE Act fully agreed upon? He wants control over how we vote. And he's really worried about these midterms because the midterms be coming. And he really wants to make sure that those midterms are in his control. Let's be real, guys. Come on. Let's just think about that for a second. He really wants control. He doesn't want the Democrats. He doesn't want a blue tidal wave. He doesn't want a blue wave. He doesn't want the blue side to win. He doesn't want that. Because that'll mess up his whole agenda on what he's trying to do while he's in office. So we'll see. S-Dubs, thank you so much for being a member for over 37 months. I appreciate it. All politicians are crooks, not just Republicans or Democrats. Hit the like. Yes, guys, please hit that like. Please and thank you. Yep. Yeah, politicians are crooks. I agree. They're pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. They're pretty terrible. All right. CLJ, thank you so much for love. ICE arrived in the USVI 3 days ago. Okay. Just watched a video of 4 agents cuffing an immigrant there. No more folks to round up in the 50 states. So now it's off to airports and islands. Madness. You know what's interesting? Yeah, you're talking about the Virginia Islands, the Virgin Islands. I'm sorry. That's very interesting. I had to compute. I was like USVI. But yes, the Virgin Islands. Yes, that's absolutely crazy. That's what's going on. There's plenty of illegal immigrants in America, but maybe they're trying to step away from the chaos that happened in Minneapolis, because there was a lot of chaos in Minneapolis. Was there not? So maybe they're like, let's go over here for a little while, and then we're going to come in here. But now, yes, now they're showing it up at airports, and I don't see this turning into a good thing. I truly think that it's only going to get worse. But we'll see. I want to see them do something about shortening these lines, not because they're arresting everybody, but because they're actually helping get the process of these travelers through the security quicker. We're not seeing that. They're standing around. They're literally standing around. I saw one dude in the videos that we saw. One guy, one ICE agent actually directing traffic. Everybody else was standing around talking about their kids and the latest football game or some crap. You know, not football, but like the latest basketball game, March Madness and all that. Stupid. Wanda, thank you so much for being a member for the past 16 months. Thank you so much. Trump has already said he won't sign any bills unless the SAVE Act gets passed. So the TSA can blame him. Yep, you're right. He said, do it for the Jesus. The SAVE Act, you better do it for the Jesus. So, yeah. So there's that, guys. Do it for the Jesus. Yeah, it's all bad. This is bad. This is bad. Things won't happen unless the SAVE Act gets passed. You see what he's doing, though, right? He's using the livelihood of these TSA agents as ransom or for ransom. He's holding them for ransom. Oh, their money? Oh, well, no. They'll get it when the SAVE Act gets passed. They'll finally get paid when the SAVE Act gets passed. So in other words, you're going to see, because I don't know if the SAVE Act will actually pass. I don't see it happening anytime soon. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? TSA agents won't be able to hold down their job anymore, and they're going to leave. And then next thing you know, or at least majority of them, some of them will stick around. Some of them will hold on. But a good portion of them will leave. Then ICE will take over. And then you got Handmaid's Tale all over again. Not all over again, but you got Handmaid's Tale in real life. Not good. Not good. Not good. General Jonobi, thank you so much for you have a couple of them, so I'm gonna go through them all here. Thank you so much for all the super chats. Thank you. America is such a bully anymore. I want your toy and I'm taking it. We just go take ish and lie. Eventually, it will happen back. Yeah. It's funny because I've been watching this show, like I told you guys before. If you haven't been hip or haven't been watching this show called Paradise, you're missing out on a really great show. But in the most recent episode, they're talking about like how certain empires, like just one of the actors mentions, one of the characters in the movie or the show talks about like empires, very powerful empires and all that crumbling over time. Like it's only inevitable. They can't be on top of the mountain forever. That eventually, even the biggest, even the most successful of countries or cities or whatever, eventually crumble, eventually fall apart because of their own ego, hubris, and whatnot. And I'm sitting there, I'm listening to the speech, and I'm like, damn, that is literally what could potentially be happening right now. We could be watching that in real time. If it continues going in the trajectory that we're seeing it right now. It may not. Maybe things will change. Maybe by the end of this week, there will be no more war in the Middle East. One can only hope. But I don't know about all that. I am concerned. I will say that. Moving on. Can chat quit saying ICE can do TSA? That's the one thing I'm worried about. That it will turn into that. And they won't need brains, diploma, skills, or even judgment, proper judgment, right? 6th grade education doesn't work. No, it don't. But I am very concerned that if it keeps going in the way that it is, you never know, ICE might be taking over TSA. No one wants that. For sure. This guy is in charge, and he just can't get his mind out of the past. Same rhetoric and words every day. That's very true. He repeats. Truly, he does. He has no class or smarts to change words up. Yeah, he gets some new words. Obliteration, obliterated, decimated. He throws in a few new words. But he is a salesman. And what salesmen do, they say the same type of rhetoric. They say the same things over and over and over again. Because the more you say it, the more you put it out there, the more people believe it to be true. It's a salesman tactic. Think about it. That's all he's doing. He's trying to sell, a dilapidated house to us. And he's a real estate agent. He's like, oh, it's a great house. It's a blah, blah, blah. Good bones. It's got good bones, guys. It's got good bones. Only to find out it doesn't even have good bones at all. It's all a big fugazi. But he's using that salesman pitch for everything. So he'll keep saying, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, to the point where you got people literally believing him to be the greatest. You got people now believing that he's been anointed by God. Yes, You got people actually believing that because now that is being something that is being said over and over and over and over again. And now that's getting implanted in people's minds, being like, well, he is doing the Lord's work when he's not. I know the Lord's work, and this is not the Lord's work. I'm sorry. Sorry, it's not. Maybe the Old Testament God, but the New Testament God, nah, this ain't the New Testament God that we speak of. Okay? Just keeping it a bean. Have you read, I'm just going to say, this is random, but have you read even a little bit of the Old Testament? God was savage. God was savage. He learned some things. You know, he went to like anger management, you know, and by the time they went into the New Testament, he's a new God, or they are a new God. You feel me? They're a completely different God. They're like, no. That was the old me. I'm different now. That was the old me. Okay, I found faith. I found sobriety. I found therapy. Baby oil. I'm a better man, or I'm a better entity than I was before. Yes, I was savage, but I'm different now. I had a kid, and I learned a lot of things through my kid's eye. That's what God is now. He's not sitting here saying, let's just drop bombs on everything. Fire and brimstone. That's the Old Testament God. Just so you know. Little Bible study class for you guys. 101. Okay. I'm just saying, him savage. Back in they savage. Because we don't know if God is a he or a she. We don't. It's just, you know, I digress. Let's move on. Mimi, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. BB Lee or BBL. I'm just kidding. BB Lee, thank you so much for the love. I really appreciate it. You have a sweet face. Aw. And I could tell exactly what you looked like as a child. Creepy or no? It's not creepy. No, it's not creepy. I could see that. I see what you're saying. I've seen my face. I've seen my face a couple times. And yeah, I could see what I looked like as a child too, because I was there. So I know what you're talking about, though. But I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. I got a sweet face. Oh, thank you. Does it make you think of like apple pie and brownies or something like that? Or that kind of sweet? Or just like, I just got a kind face? No? Are you still here? Did you leave? Did I creep you out? No. Okay. Next super chat. Thank you so much, Carl. Appreciate it. From Australia. Thank you. Hello from Australia. Trump's MO is chaos. It is. That's kind of what it feels like nowadays, doesn't it? Just a skosh. Or government is talking about restricting travel to save fuel. COVID vibes. You know what I'm going to say, Carl? Walking Dead. Carl. Let me just say this, Carl. You ain't wrong with that theory. I kind of feel like we may be getting COVID vibes here in the very near future. Hear me out. If we continue with the gas being astronomical, I mean, it's gone up like a whole buck in some places, even more than a whole buck in some places as well. People are literally losing their ish in the streets about this. And it's not good. No matter what, it's not good. There are numbers for gas at places that have never seen numbers like that for gas before, ever. You know, they're like, oh, we got the cheapest gas. It never goes above what the hell? What number is it now? What? There's a lot of those places, a lot of cities, a lot of towns that are shook right now, right? But I have a feeling that because of what's going on with gas and how everything's getting more and more expensive, that what we just saw is what we saw just now Okay. As far as United Airlines. United Airlines just came out and said, yeah, we're starting to shave down. We're starting to do less red eye flights and all that. We're trying to consolidate. They haven't done any crazy amounts of consolidation, but they are starting to back up their amounts of flights that are taking off now. This is a very, very big deal because other airlines are going to probably follow in suit as well. This could be a very good thing for people, and this could be a very bad thing for people. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a very bad thing because airline tickets are already expensive as hell. So that means that airline tickets are going to skyrocket. They're going to be even more expensive. And people are not going to be able to travel like they used to. Here's the other thing that I'm concerned about too, since Carl's saying all this stuff, okay? The restriction of travel. They might even restrict the amount of times that we can actually go fill our gas tank up. That maybe some of these gas stations will only be open, or all gas stations may only be open on certain days. So you'll have lines out the door or lines out the gas station parking lot for these gas stations to fill up on specific days. Imagine it being like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are the only days you can actually go and fill your tank up because there's a shortage on gas. And then gas prices being astronomical at the same damn time. So then traveling becomes even more expensive. So then people are buying less airline tickets and flying, which also hurts the economy as well and hurts the airlines that make billions of dollars off of millions of people that travel just domestically alone. So again, this is a domino effect of things that can get worse, worse, and worse, and worse, and worse. Here's the other thing too. People might have, speaking of COVID vibes, people might have to work from home again. Yeah. People might have to go and do what we did back in the day, like we're locked down again. People are going to have to think twice before they drive their car to the grocery store or even to the gym. The simple little luxuries that we have as Americans, we might have to think twice about doing those things. All because the cost of gas could very well get super, super high. And the accessibility to gas could get more and more scarce potentially. So again, what Carl is saying here, very true. We could be seeing another version of a lockdown, but this time, instead of it being a cold or a virus, it's because of gas. Wild, right? Janobi, thank you so much again. Next show, ring a bell each time. Next show, ring a bell each time. He says, each time he says Biden and radical left, let's go. You know what? You got a point there. He always says it. It's on repeat. He's like, it's because of them. It's their fault. Everything is their fault, not us. Not the Republicans. It's them. It's over there. Blame the radical left, those crazy leftists. It's their fault. If we get to a place where things get volatile in the streets, like in a bad way, not just like, F you, middle fingers and throwing words and slurs at each other. I'm saying like actual violence in the streets. It's stemming from this situation here, from this man right here. Because he's been saying this stuff for the longest time. And ain't nobody stopping him from saying what he's been saying. In fact, let me just say this too. They keep on saying, impeachment needs to happen. We need to impeach him. He ain't getting impeached, baby. Do you know how many times he should have been on the impeachment chopping block? Do you know how many times he was supposed to be allegedly on the impeachment chopping block? Multiple times. And what has happened so far? Not a freaking thing. He is definitely called Teflon Don for a reason. No one has ever, like, there's been talks of things, but there has never been anyone who actually said anything yet about impeachment. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Here's something new. Breaking news. Take a look at this. Kuwait Army fighting hostile missile and drone attacks. Kuwait's army said its air defenses are confronting hostile missiles and drone attacks. The army said on X that if explosions are heard, it is due to air defense systems intercepting the attacks. Everyone is requested to adhere to the safety and security instructions issued by the competent authorities. Kuwait, y'all. Like I said, we keep saying, "Oh yeah," or Trump's saying, things are coming to an end. No, it's not. Things are just revving up. What's up, T? Thank you so much. It's just me, T. Thank you. He cannot be impeached if Democrats don't have control of both the House and the Senate. Vote Democrat. Here's one thing for sure. I'm glad you mentioned that. This is the exact same reason why he is trying so damn hard to get the Save America Act going. It's not only just for women's rights to vote and all that. It's also because he's trying to control how people are able to vote. Let's not forget the mail-in ballots, etc. He's saying that those are terrible. Those are a hoax. That's a perfect opportunity for them to fake votes. We've been using it for so long. We haven't had any issues with it until Trump came into office. Real talk. Now, I'm sure nothing is perfect, but at the same time, he is trying to stop people from being able to vote the way that they're used to voting. That is a massive problem. Massive problem. Okay? That's exactly why he is holding TSA agents' money at bay. I am only going to give them money and pay them only until SAVE Act is passed. If it doesn't get passed, TSA ain't going to make any money. That's insane. That's insane, y'all. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So again, he shouldn't be doing that. But this is exactly what he did to the American people that were using SNAP benefits and welfare. Let's not forget that too. WIC, SNAP benefits, welfare, whatever you want to call it. All the people that were using it a couple months ago, guys, their benefits, their help, their funding was held at the balance, was hanging at the balance as well. That's not good. And he used starving kids, starving families, etc., to try to get the Democrats to bend to what they wanted to get passed in the House. And that's exactly what he's doing again. But this time, he's messing with TSA agents and their livelihood and safety at these airports and making sure that the safety at these airports are done properly. You don't think these disgruntled TSA agents are just like, F it, I don't need to look through all this crap. You're good. Go ahead. Come on, man. He passes by. He lets a bad guy pass through because he doesn't care anymore, because he's not making money anymore. He got bills to pay. He got a family to feed, etc. Like I said, this is a recipe for very big disasters. If he doesn't get this ish in line, things could get catastrophically bad. Wanda J, thank you so much for love. The post office running out of money. Trump trap. Post office is also running out of money too. Diggity damn. I didn't know that. That's not good either. I mean, I will keep it a bean. No matter what, it's still very, very bad. But I am also thankful that it isn't the holidays, like it isn't Christmas time, where you got packages going back and forth, so on and so forth. But still not good. They deserve to get their money. They deserve to get paid too, baby. That ain't wrong. That ain't right. I mean, that ain't right at all. Real quick, BB Lee, thank you so much for the love. Sorry I was behind in the live. Yes, all the precious things like baby animals, capybaras, I don't know what that is, nose booping, and all that. funny stuff. LJ just said post office has been in the red for decades. I didn't realize that. Is it a dying art form? You know what I mean? Like ballet and opera? I'm kidding. Don't at me. I'm kidding. But that is very interesting nonetheless. Hold on one second. Okay. Well, guys, just trying to see if there's a few other things. Oh, well, here's one thing. I don't think I'd ever want to go toe to toe with the likes of somebody like Alan Richardson. I don't know, Richson, Alan Richardson. Okay, he's in the new movie War Machine. He's Reacher in the TV show Reacher. Okay, he is a massively huge guy, and apparently he beat the crap out of one of his neighbors in his neighborhood right in front of his kids. I don't know why he did it, but it's pretty insane. All I can say is keep your doggone hands to yourselves. Don't be dumb out here. This man is a behemoth. He is massive. Hold on. This is Alan Richardson or Richards. Dude is massive. Okay. And he was seen, this is him in white right here, beating the crap out of his neighbor. Like, that's insane, right? That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Okay. So again, I can't show you the full video right now, but as you can see, like, clearly he's beating the crap out of this guy in the neighborhood. Why is he beating the crap out of the guy? I don't know, but he is definitely beating the crap out of him, and he's a very big boy. And oh, by the way, War Machine was fantastic. That was a fun movie. Definitely a good movie. Definitely like testosterone heavy, just one of those good old fashioned action flicks that you just, it's been a long time since I've seen something where it's just action flicks, right? But nonetheless, good movie. And he's about to he's making it now. His name is getting out there. People are trying to say that he's the next action star, the next Rock, the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I mean? Just the next big thing. And then he goes and he's caught on film kicking the crap and beating the crap out of some random neighbor. All I could say is you got bigger things to worry about, homie, like the career that you have. And also he's beating the crap out of this guy in front of his mother-loving kids. Alan Richardson's kids are right there, sitting on the bikes, watching daddy kick the crap out of a neighbor. It's not good, guys. It's not good. But watch what happens. That he'll be fine. I'm sure the guy will press charges or something crazy like that, but he'll be fine. Yeah, he was definitely roiding out. Oh, he ain't on gear? Yeah, I did all this off of broccoli and chicken breast. Yeah, and lies. Yeah, and chemicals. lots and lots of gear. He is on a hell of a lot of gear. Are you out your mind? Look at this guy one more time. That is not normal, guys. That's not normal. And if you know this guy, he's been in a bunch of TV shows, movies, stuff like that in the past. He never was that big. He was never that big. He was in good shape, but he was never that. No, that's called roids. That's called gear. That's what some people in the gym call it, gear. It's gear, and you poke yourself with it, and then makes you big and makes you really angry all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that, yeah. And so he's beating the crap out of a neighbor right in front of his kids. That's not very, I'm sorry. This took me out. He took supervised testosterone. Okay. Sure. Supervised testosterone. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Somebody was watching him inject it into his body for sure. So it was supervised. But that is not the normal dose. I'm telling you right now. If it's TRT, you know what some of these guys are on, like, yeah, I'm on TRT. You could tell in the skin and everything. But anyway, the TRT, if it was TRT, he would not get that big. There's more than that. There's Deca, there's Andro. There's so many different things he could be on. Trust me. It's not supervised testosterone. That's hilarious. No. That somebody was watching him as supervised while he was putting it in his body, but that he'd using of the likes you've never seen before. But yeah, he's a big guy. He's a big guy now. He's a big guy. And I guess he was roiding out on this guy. And that's exactly crazy. That's just insane. And he did it right in front of his kids. That's not very role model-y of him. Keep your doggone hands to yourselves, guys. Doesn't matter, because I know we all have a neighbor that annoys the crap out of us. We all do. All right. We all have one. Nobody's perfect. But at the same time, dude is needing to find a way to chill. Maybe, just smoke a little something and take a little gummy and chill the F out. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. All right. You could be watching any other show, spending your time anywhere else, and you're watching it right here, this show. I appreciate that. It really means the world to me. But please do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. I'm on all of them. So make sure you hit that follow. Subscribe here to my YouTube channel. Please and thank you. Yeah, don't do the juice. Don't do the juice. Don't do it. Okay? Very bad, and it shrinks your balls, guys. Shrinks them. Size of little green peas. Don't do it. Don't do it. But anyway, hit that subscribe button, please and thank you. On my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, please and thank you as well. Hit that join button down below, become a member, support the channel if you can. Check out my Patreon if you want to support even further. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really good stuff over there. Go check it out, PascalMerch.com. Okay? Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. And if the world keeps on burning, we'll be here talking about it and sitting on the sidelines, eating a bowl of popcorn, watch it go up in flames together. Yeah. So until then, be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.